just, I don't know, I was lost. And then he was done speaking, and I mean, just tears just started pouring out of my face. I'm just like, ugh, I don't know what just happened. It was just like unbelievable, just unbelievable. I was just, oh, I'm shaking now just remembering it.
Like, I don't know what shifts inside you. It's just, I literally felt the strong initiation happening at that time when Swamiji blessed. I don't know, it just puts you in some different world altogether, and suddenly everything seems possible. Everything seems, oh, like that impossibilities in that 1 second, fraction of a second, that impossibility drops from you. And you just, everything seems possible, that you get into that space of possibility. And I think, that is the greatest, dropping the impossibilities is really, and something changes in you, something shifts in you. You can physically feel the change. And the energy that is generated, it really, it's phenomenal.
Nithyanandam, welcome back to your viewers, and we can see many of you who have commented, Ma Eva Anderson, Andreas Kalpinis, and Saurav Aneja Ayya, and Ma Shakti Maya Das, and we have all of you who have commented, and we welcome you all. Thank you for commenting, and we will be manifesting the powers of body scanning now. And just before we enter into it, Ma Eva Anderson and Andreas Kalpinis Ayya, I know you enjoy power manifestation a lot, and yes, but see, since this power, the sacredness of the power is such that the moment we scan and something is revealed, like when Swamiji is showing something to you, each and every one of you, it is not just the manifestation itself, it is also what is told. So we have to take that, apply that, follow that in our life. You will naturally experience the changes in your body. You'll experience the healing when you follow what Swamiji, the science that Swamiji has revealed through the third eye. So we encourage each and every one of you. You all can definitely come for different powers in different days. But we just would like to suggest you all to not have it consistently. We can have it to all the other people who are waiting for the first time. They can get it, and we can manifest with them. And you can definitely come back after few days of applying the solution, and after experiencing the change, you can come back. Yes, and we have Saurav Aneja Ayya, Nithyananda Maya, and Nithyananda Ma Shaktima Nithyananda. So we will be now manifesting this power of body scanning. Saurav Aneja Ayya, now Ma Tattvapriya will be manifesting the power of body scanning for you, Ayya. And Ma Shakti Maya Das. Ma Shaktima, you can comment, and under the comment section, you can comment if you want to experience the power of body scanning, so that we are sure that we have your consent before we go ahead and scan you. And to Andreas Ayya and Ma Eva Anderson, so you all can go ahead and make sure that you are applying all that you received in the body scanning from Swamiji. And once you apply that and practice that and manifest that, naturally you will see the next scanning will be more depth and in detail. So we request all of you to stay tuned. And once we scan and share with you all, you can get back to us in the comment section. So we are sure that you have received this scan. And Ma Shaktima, you can get back to us in the comment section if you would like to have a body scanning, because I'm just seeing a message, Nithyanandamma. So I just want to make sure I have your consent before we do the body scanning for you. Saurav Aneja, yes. So I just wanted to share with you what was revealed in my third eye. First thing, I do not see any sort of like severe illnesses that are there in your system. I'm only seeing like there is a slight muscle spasm that has happened, like the slight which has happened towards the right side lower back region. I think not even lower back, like the hip and the lower back, in this region exactly. So that's one thing that I'm saying. And apart from this, I do not actually see any sort of issues here.
So I'm just going to try scanning again, and I'm going to see, because I do not see any specification. This is the only thing that can appear. So I'm going to be just chanting Mahavakya, scanning, and whatever is getting revealed, I'm going to be sharing with you. Yeah, so one other thing that was revealed is the body is going through intense, actually there's a lot of intense energy kind of thing that's happening, and because of that the solid is not your, like any solid that you consume also, it takes a lot of time for it to get digested. The solid, the body is finding it difficult to take even little solid if it goes in, and the body is just going through some intense process. That much I'm seeing. Yeah? And there's also a lot of heat that is there in the stomach. There's the energy is so intense that's happening in you, but the stomach is having a lot of heat that is being generated because of this. So every night before you go to sleep, just for about 10 minutes, if you can take a wet towel and put it on your stomach, in next few more days, your heat balance, the heat or the body heat will get balanced in your system, as well as the eyes. Many times actually you will unconsciously will suddenly doze off, like for a few seconds it will be, and that is because the body heat is too much and that's affecting the eyes. Once you start cooling the stomach with the towel, you will start seeing the vision will be very clear, as well as the drowsiness that comes in and goes, that would also be clear. And this is what is the only thing that was revealed. So Saurav and Ejaya, you can post in the comment section how much of it you were able to relate.
Yes, and you can get back to us if you heard the scan and if you're able to relate to it. And also to all the other viewers that are watching us, just a gentle reminder again that each and every one of you also can manifest these extraordinary Shaktis. The very purpose that we manifest this is not just to demonstrate that these are possible, not just that these are possible or this is the reality, but also most importantly, it is possible for you as much as it is possible for us or for anybody else. Because the whole thing is independent of us. It is just the initiation, the Diksha of an avatar, which by itself is supremely capable of awakening these extraordinary capabilities and abilities and the powers in each and every one of us. This latent potential energy called the Kundalini Shakti gets awakened and manifests as these extraordinary Shaktis through the Diksha by an avatar. So this brings us all to the conclusion of this segment. We thank you all for participating in today's program, and stay tuned with us. Each day we'll be having various different powers being demonstrated and various different exciting segments. So stay tuned with us. We thank you all for tuning in. We'll now be entering into the further segments of our program. We'll be right back with you all after a short break.
The ultimate divine descends in human body and expresses its extraordinary powers and experiences playfully. Sundareshwara is the embodiment of this statement. He is not Shiva as you understand, sitting in the Himalayas, frozen in the ice, in Samadhi. Sundareshwara is an artist with tremendous heart, ready to listen to human sufferings, ready to bend for human emotions. The one and only thing you need to obtain His grace is simple feeling connection. That's all. He bends for anybody, to any level. Even the word compassion is too small. He is still available. Even now, He is there he assumes human body and relates with you, answers you, responds to you, raises you.
I don't know, I was lost. And then he was done speaking, and just tears just started pouring out of my face. I'm just like, ugh, I don't know what just happened. It was just like unbelievable, just unbelievable. I was just, I'm shaking now just remembering it.
I don't know what shifts inside you. It's just, I literally felt the strong initiation happening at that time when Swamiji blessed. I don't know, it just puts you in some different world altogether, and suddenly everything seems possible. Everything seems, like that impossibilities in that 1 second, fraction of a second, that impossibility drops from you. And you just, everything seems possible, that you get into that space of possibility. And I think, that is the greatest, dropping the impossibilities is really, and something changes in you, something shifts in you. You can physically feel the change. And the energy that is generated, it really, it's phenomenal.
The ultimate divine descends in human body and expresses its extraordinary powers and experiences playfully. Sundareshwara is the embodiment of this statement. He is not Shiva as you understand, sitting in the Himalayas, frozen in the ice, in Samadhi. Sundareshwara is an artist with tremendous heart, ready to listen to human sufferings, ready to bend for human emotions. The one and only thing you need to obtain His grace is simple feeling connection. That's all. He bends for anybody, to any level. Even the word compassion is too small. He is still available. Even now, He is there. He assumes human body and relates with you, answers you, responds to you, raises you.
I don't know, I was lost. And then he was done speaking, and just tears just started pouring out of my face. I'm just like, ugh, I don't know what just happened. It was just like unbelievable, just unbelievable. I was just, I'm shaking now just remembering it.
I don't know what shifts inside you. It's just, literally felt the strong initiation happening at that time when Swamiji blessed. I don't know, it just puts you in some different world altogether, and suddenly everything seems possible. Everything seems like that impossibilities in that 1 second, fraction of a second, that impossibility drops from you. And you just, everything seems possible, that you get into that space of possibility. And I think, that is the greatest, dropping the impossibilities is really, and something changes in you, something shifts in you. You can physically feel the change. And the energy that is generated is really, it's phenomenal.
The ultimate divine descends in human body and expresses its extraordinary powers and experiences playfully. Sundareshwara is the embodiment of this statement. He is not Shiva as you understand, sitting in the Himalayas, frozen in the ice, in Samadhi. Sundareshwara is an artist with tremendous heart, ready to listen to human sufferings, ready to bend for human emotions. The one and only thing you need to obtain His grace is simple feeling connection. That's all. He bends for anybody, to any level. Even the word compassion is too small. He is still available. Even now, He is there. He assumes human body and relates with you, answers you, responds to you, raises you.
I was lost. And then he was done speaking, and just tears just started pouring out of my face. I'm just like, ugh, I don't know what just happened. It was just like unbelievable. Just unbelievable. I was just, I'm shaking now just remembering it.
I don't know what shifts inside you. It's just, literally felt the strong initiation happening at that time when Swamiji blessed. I don't know, it just puts you in some different world altogether, and suddenly everything seems possible. Everything seems, like that impossibilities in that 1 second, fraction of a second, that impossibility drops from you. And you just, everything seems possible, that you get into that space of possibility. And I think, that is the greatest, dropping the impossibilities is really, and something changes in you, something shifts in you. You can physically feel the change. And the energy that is generated is really, it's phenomenal.
The ultimate divine descends in human body and expresses its extraordinary powers and experiences playfully. Sundareshwara is the embodiment of this statement. He is not Shiva as you understand, sitting in the Himalayas, frozen in the ice, in Samadhi. Sundareshwara is an artist with tremendous heart, ready to listen to human sufferings, ready to bend for human emotions. The one and only thing you need to obtain His grace is simple feeling connection. That's all. He bends for anybody, to any level. Even the word compassion is too small. He is still available. Even now, He is there. He assumes human body and relates with you, answers you, responds to you, raises you.
I don't know, I was lost. And then he was done speaking, and just tears just started pouring out of my face. I'm just like, ugh, I don't know what just happened. It was just like unbelievable, just unbelievable. I was just, I'm shaking now just remembering it.
I don't know what shifts inside you. It's just, I literally felt the strong initiation happening at that time when Swamiji blessed. I don't know, it just puts you in some different world altogether, and suddenly everything seems possible. Everything seems, like that impossibilities in that 1 second, fraction of a second, that impossibility drops from you. And you just, everything seems possible, that you get into that space of possibility. And I think, that is the greatest, dropping the impossibilities is really, and something changes in you, something shifts in you. You can physically feel the change. And the energy that is generated is really, it's phenomenal.
The ultimate divine descends in human body and expresses its extraordinary powers and experiences playfully. Sundareshwara is the embodiment of this statement. He is not Shiva as you understand, sitting in the Himalayas, frozen in the ice, in Samadhi. Sundareshwara is an artist with tremendous heart, ready to listen to human sufferings, ready to bend for human emotions. The one and only thing you need to obtain His grace is simple feeling connection. That's all. He bends for anybody, to any level. Even the word compassion is too small. He is still available. Even now, He is there. He assumes human body and relates with you, answers you, responds to you, raises you.
Yes, Nithyananda, welcome back, dear viewers. Now we'll be entering into the next segment. And we'll be understanding who is Devi Parashakti. I hope all of you enjoyed the wonderful power manifestation session that we had, and you can join us back at the same time, 2:15 a.m. every day, and enjoy a body scan and live demonstration of the powers of Paramashivoham. So now let us understand who is Devi Parashakti, the divine feminine consciousness. Yes. So we have the shloka from Lalita Sahasranama, which describes Devi Parashakti, who liberates us from the cycle of birth and death. And Ma Sadashipriya can go ahead and chant this.
Yes, so now, sorry for the technical glitch. I'll just be chanting the verses from the Lalita Sahasranama. Nishkroda Krodha Shamani Nirlobha Lobhanashini Nishamshaya Shamshayagni Nirbhava Bhavanashini.
This verse translates, O Devi, the one who is without anger, who destroys the tendency to get angry, who is free from greed, who destroys greed in her devotees, who has no doubt, who faces all doubts, who is not involved in the cycle of births and deaths, who frees devotees from involvement in the cycle of births and deaths.
Yes, and the next verse of Devi Parashakti from the Lalita Sahasranama, which describes her as the destroyer of fear of death. Nirvikalpa nirabada nirbeda bedanashini nirnasha mrityumatani nishkriya nishparigraha. Go ahead.
And the translation of this verse, Devi, who is without any modifications, as she is pure consciousness, who can never be sublated, who is beyond all differences, who destroys the senses of difference, and who is deathless, who destroys the fear of death, who is without involvement in action, who needs no gift, as everything in this universe is hers. So this shloka describes Devi Parashakti as the one who destroys the fear of death.
Yes. And Devi Parashakti is the ultimate pure feminine consciousness. Parashakti is the cosmic mother. It is from her womb, from which billions and billions of universes comes out and go in. She is the source where the Big Bang and Black Hole comes out. Parashakti is the source Shakti, the source energy, the source power from which all of us came, in which all of us are even in now, and in which all of us are going to merge.
And out of her extreme love and compassion, Parashakti herself is manifesting through the embodied form as the Nijavatara of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, gracing us, answering all of our questions, attending to our prayers, giving boons, healing us, revealing our past, present, and future, delivering profound spiritual truths, and ultimately giving us the experience of Paramashivoham itself.
Devi has described her creation, her manifestation, in her very own words. Parashakti describes, listen, humans, I am telling the truth. I will solve sufferings. I will give goodness. I will give bliss. I am that Paramashakti who blossomed as the four Vedas, as the four padas of Agama, which is Charya, Kriya, Yoga, and Jnana. I am Ananda Swarupini, who does all of the 5 jobs, such as creation, maintenance, destruction, putting into delusion, liberation. I am Paramashakti, who is sitting as part of Paramashiva.
And Devi continues on. I am the Parama Aushad Swarupini, who gives Jnana Siddhi and Shakti to all the Siddhas. Parashakti Meenakshi, Amba Shambhavi, Chandramauli, Ananda Swarupini, blossoming as the Dasa Mahavidyas, filling as the Navadurgas, being as the Ashta Shaktis, living as the Sapta Madhars, being as the 6 Kartikeya women, filled as the Pancha Shaktis, giving 4 Vedas, which are the best of all worlds, blossoming as the 3 Shaktis, Ichcha, Kriya, Jnana, being as 2, Parama Prakriti and Parama Purusha.
Being as Paramashiva Paramburu, which is beyond these 2, beyond 1, beyond 2, beyond anything that never existed, beyond any remembrance or forgetting, beyond form and formless Paramashakti, who blossomed and blesses as Paramashiva. I came here to give all boons, to bestow all goodness, giving the 4 Purusharthas, which is Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha, giving the 4 Muktis, Salokyam, Samipyam, Sarupyam, and Sayujyam, giving all the goodness, giving good grace, giving complete punya, giving yoga along with jnana. To give all goodness, I came here and blossomed here.
So how can we receive Devi Parashakti? What's the best way to receive all the blessings and boons that Devi Parashakti is giving us? What's the best way to receive her energy? The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revealed. I wanted to give you one sacred secret. Do this Panchabhuta Yoga whenever you want to ask any question to Devi and receive the answer. On that day, do this Panchabhuta Yoga means apply only anthill mud on the body, take bath, not with any other chemicals, that is the earth element.
And drink only water. Don't eat or drink anything other than water. When you come for Parashakti Akashic reading, at least for a few hours, for 10 hours, prepare yourself and drink only water. Your stomach should be allowed to burn without any food dumped on it, just pure fire. You can chant the Omkara and intensify it, or the Mahavakya or Ajapa Japa, but pure fire, no food. Pure fire should be encouraged.
And Devi continues on, just be in the free air, open space, breathing the whole sky, at least for a few hours before the session. Intensely unclutch to get the power of the space, Akasha. Akasha is an intense energy, just like the other Bhutas like earth, water, fire, air. The Akasha also is pure consciousness, intelligence, living energy. Once you start unclutching, you manifest Akasha energy in your consciousness, in you.
So do this Panchabhuta Yoga. Your questions were surely answered immediately by Parashakti. Intensify the Akashic energy, the Chidambara Akashic space. Do this Panchabhuta Yoga and come to Parashakti's Akashic reading. She will give you the boons you are asking for and fulfill your prayers. Panchabhuta Yoga will make you receive this Parashakti's energy, prepare you to receive the Parashakti energy. So with this, I bless you all. Swamiji blesses us in order to do the whole Panchabhuta Yoga successfully and be able to, in the most perfect way, receive Devi Parashakti. So now, that brings us to a conclusion of the introduction to Devi Parashakti, who, as we saw, is the one who destroys the fear of death, the one who is the keeper of death and the keeper to the secrets of death, the one who destroys all kinds of negativity. And we also saw how literally Devi Parashakti is the source of existence. Now, we're going to be understanding a very sacred revelation that has happened, that emerged from Devi Parashakti in just a few months back on a very, very unique subject that is unique to Hinduism, the Pitru Loka. So out of his compassion and the extreme compassion and love, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is manifesting Devi Parashakti, gracing us, answering all of our questions, attending to our prayers and giving boons, healing us, delivering profound spiritual truths, and ultimately giving us the experience of Paramashivoham itself.
And the answers that Devi Parashakti reveal from the cosmic archives are not just limited to an individual or their past, present, and future, but out of the love for humanity, the entire humanity. Devi Parashakti also reveals solutions for global issues that humanity is trying to tackle, and in the process also revealing the future that lays forth for the humanity as a whole.
So today, let us see Devi Parashakti's revelations on the truths about Pitruloka, the death and liberation of souls.
Yes.
I'm sure each and every one of us, when it comes to this subject particularly, it is a very interesting, very special subject that piques the interest of so many of us, because each and every one of us can relate to losing a loved one, to being curious about what happens after leaving the body, after death, and what happens to those whom we love and who we lost, and where have they gone? What is the next step for them? Is there anything that we can do in order to complete them? And now let us watch what Devi Parashakti has revealed on this day, on the 14th of June 2021, on the Pitruloka.
சீனிவாசன், நன்றாய் புரிந்துகொள், உன்மூலம் உலகிற்கு மரணமும் பித்ருலோகமும் பற்றிய ரகசியங்கள் உரைக்கின்றேன். உனக்குள் இருக்கும் தசை நினைவு, சதை நினைவு, உயிர் நினைவு, உயிர் சக்தி, இவைகளுக்குள்தான் உன் பித்ருக்களின் எச்சமும் மிச்சமும் இருக்கின்றது. உனக்குள் பூரணத்துவத்தை முழுமையாய்ச் செய்து பித்ருக்களோடு பூரண நிலையில் இருந்து நீ இருந்த இடத்திருந்தே பிண்ட தர்ப்பணமும் பித்ரு தர்ப்பணமும் செய். அதுவே முறையான பிண்ட தர்ப்பணம், முறையான பித்ரு தர்ப்பணம். ஆதி கைலாசம் பித்ரு தர்ப்பணம் செய்திட, முன்னோர்கள் சாந்தமடைந்திட 100 மடங்கு உகந்த இடம் உன் பழைய இருப்பு வீட்டை விட. இருப்பு வீட்டு பாசத்தை துறந்து நீ இப்பொழுது இருக்கும் என் வீடான ஆதி கைலாசத்து நேசத்தை வளர்த்துக்கொள். நல்வாழ்வு உனக்கும் அமையும், முன்னோர்க்கும் அமையும். உனை மனக்குழப்பத்தில் ஆழ்த்தும் மாமனுக்கு சொல், நித்யானந்தன் வந்துதித்த குலம் முன்னேழு பின்னேழு வடவேழு இடவேழு தலைமுறைக்கும். சாத்தமும் பிண்டமும் தேவையில்லை, அடைந்தனர் முக்தி. நித்யானந்தன் நிஜாவதார சக்தி சாநித்தியத்தினால் கவலையும் இல்லை, துக்கமும் இல்லை. அத்துணை பேர்க்கும் அன்னை பரமசக்தி அளித்தேன் முக்தி. அஞ்ச வேண்டாம். ஓம் ஓம் ஓம்.
உபாடக்காரி
Now let's take a look at the English translation, or the best mapping of Devi's revelations into English. Devi Parashakti revealed, Srinivasan, who is the person who had asked the question, understand carefully. Through you, I am telling the secrets of death in Pitruloka. Pitru, for various reasons also based on their karmic deeds, are unable to find another body. They remain stuck in the form of Pitru. The Pitrus have their own heavenly place to reside, and it is called the Pitruloka to the world. The remains of your ancestors, the Pitrus, is there inside of your bio memory, your muscle memory, and your bioenergy. Do completion completely inside of you. Be in completion with the ancestors and do Pinda Tarpana, the rice ball offerings, and Pitru Tarpana, the offering to the ancestors from wherever you are.
That is the proper Pindu Darpanam and the proper Pitru Darpanam. 100 times more apt place to do the Pitru Darpanam and for ancestors to be in peace is Adi Kailasa. More than your old living house. Drop the love for your old living home and develop love for my home, Adi Kailasa, in which you are living now. Good life will happen for you and your ancestors. Tell your uncle who puts you in confusion, clan of Nithyananda, up 7 generations, down 7 generations, right 7 generations, and left 7 generations. Everyone does not need the Shraddham, the ancestral offerings, and the Pinda, the rice ball offering to ancestors. They attain liberation in the presence of Nithyananda Nijavatara Shakti. There is no worry. There is no suffering. For all of them, Mother Paramashakti, I gave liberation. Do not fear.
So we've just heard the revelations from Devi on how the remains of our Pitrus are still in our biomemory, muscle memory, and bioenergy. For many of you, these terms may not be clear yet. So let us take a few minutes and understand these terms.
Yes. So the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revealed what is biomemory, muscle memory, and bioenergy. So the biomemory is all of the cognitions which are rooted, or which are the root cause for your instigations and reactions, and are stored in your biomemory. The muscle memory are the actions, your patterns of your actions. For example, having a cup of coffee in the morning, the method of your reaction is stored in your muscle memory. And bioenergy is the conscious frequency which operates in your body, which is beyond any completion, incompletion, patterns, or any binding cognitions.
So now let us take a look at some of the scientific findings and studies on how the ancestors' incompletions causes generational trauma. This is a very exciting and new subject in science, where they're looking at how this generational trauma exists.
So many of you may have heard of generational trauma when you heard of many communities across the world who have experienced over generations persecution, attacks, genocide. So this is trauma that isn't just experienced by one person, but extends from one generation to the next. It can be taught or implied throughout someone's life from an early age. So many have heard of generational trauma when it comes to communities which were traditionally enslaved, or many of the native indigenous communities which have faced genocide, persecution, and trauma across the generations. And this is passed down. It is, science has studied that this has been passed down from one generation to the next. So this trauma, this suffering is carried on to your lineage.
And as we all might have experienced, trauma can have a profound effect on the dynamics of a family. So let us take an in-depth look at some of the research to help us understand better.
So in Psychiatric Times, it was reported that the dangerous effects of generational trauma and how it can affect the family. It states that trauma that affects one member of a family system has the potential to fundamentally change the whole family structure. It threatens to erode the very foundation of the family unit, and family members may start to see each other as enemies. Trauma has the power to make or break a family. So this trauma that is passed down from one generation to the next, from parent to child, has the power to actually break up the entire family if it is not addressed.
And this medical report shown below, as you can see, is indicating the effects of generational trauma on children of those who have suffered. Investigators have examined markers on HPA axis parameters, and one study reported that children of mothers exposed to childhood trauma, particularly emotional abuse, had higher sympathetic nervous system activation, which might be a marker for vulnerability to anxiety, compared to children of mothers with low emotional abuse, an effect that remains significant after accounting for maternal PTSD. The effects of generational trauma should never be downplayed. As you can see, the study is showing how children who are coming from backgrounds, or mothers, fathers even, but this report has spoken about mothers, but even your parents in general, your grandparents, where if they are exposed to any kind of trauma, any childhood trauma, and this report is talking specifically about emotional abuse, you yourself are more likely to be able to experience higher sympathetic nervous system activation, which scientists are calling as a marker for vulnerability and anxiety. So going to show that much of the trauma that you experience, and anxiety being an indicator of trauma, much of the trauma that you are experiencing, that you are having and undergoing right now, including having anxiety or having symptoms of depression, might be something that is passed down through generations, might be something because your mother or your father, your parents, or the previous generation has had it.
And particularly, we should highlight in this research that it shows that generational trauma is not just a psychological effect or social effect, but they are able to actually find physiological effects of the trauma that's passed down from one generation to the next, as they are tracking the higher sympathetic nervous system activation in the generation after that experienced the trauma. So the mother's children who have experienced abuse, the children are having higher sympathetic nervous system activation, which is a physiological difference, not just a psychological difference, not just a social difference, but your very physiology changes with this trauma.
So that definitely goes to say for a lot more questions, like is this something that is biological even further? Is this something that is in our DNA? Is it passed down through our DNA? Or is it in a different means? How exactly is it passed down? All these questions are actually very interesting fields that scientists are only just now trying to find a solution and trying to see what is going on.
Yes. And the study also explains that there is now converging evidence supporting the idea that offspring are affected by parental trauma exposures occurring before their birth and possibly even prior to their conception. As we explore this topic deeper, we will come to understand how our biomemory, muscle memory, and bioenergy ties in with this research. So this research is suggesting that there can be actually a very change in your DNA, which can be passed down from one generation to the next before conception even happens, that it can be passed down, that trauma can be passed down from one generation to the next, which is why, as the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has always explained, that it's important to address these incompletions and address, complete the biomemory, muscle memory patterns. So we're now seeing more and more how it actually can affect even our future generations.
And the transmission of generational trauma from parent to child has been proved in various other studies. For example, in 2019, an experiment conducted on mice showed similar results.
And after the experiment was carried out, it was found that even in mice, there were similarities in how generational trauma was passed down to offspring. So this was reported in Science, a very reputable journal, and it states that as similar snCRNA alterations, the presence of similar biomarkers suggests that comparable pathways are operating after trauma in mice and in children. So this study translates from animal model to humans, actually, and they're finding that the traumatized mice were able to, that this trauma was passed down from one generation of mice to the next, and they're seeing that this is actually translatable to humans as well.
Other research and studies have also confirmed the way in which transmission of trauma occurs, whether in human or in animal. So if you see this article from Scientific American, which titled "Fearful Memories Passed Down to Mouse Descendants," it says, according to convention, the genetic sequences contained in DNA are the only way to transmit biological information across generations. Random DNA mutations, when beneficial, enable organisms to adapt to changing conditions, but this process typically occurs slowly over many generations.
And this study was focused specifically on how certain fears can be inherited through generations, and this was the authors have suggested that there is a similar phenomenon that could influence anxiety and addiction in humans. So fear can be inherited through generations, and this can also is applicable for anxiety and addiction as well. And so this research was focused on that. While the research may be inconclusive, it is suggesting that it is a possibility that this anxiety, depression, addictions, and fear can be passed down and through generations.
Yes, and actually it did. The research for generational trauma was also started and provoked when trying to answer questions like why addiction is worse in some individuals and in some communities, and why it is relatively not prevalent in other communities and some other individuals. Then they actually saw how this was linked to generational trauma. And that aside, research and development has progressed greatly and now recognizes that even within cultures, this generational trauma exists. It has been long recognized that experiences of parents and ancestors influence future generations. Many cultural practices and rituals function to transmit historical knowledge and experience across generations.
And so this, while the cultural and ritual practices may be passed down, this research is specifically focusing on how it can be passed down through the DNA, through epigenetic changes. And this is something that the world is still studying, how it's not just social, psychological, or cultural, but how this trauma can be passed down in your actual very DNA. And this is exactly what Swamiji himself has revealed, that this incompletions can be passed down from one generation to the next. So that is why it is important to liberate the Pitrus, to have completion with the Pitrus in order to bring completion within yourself.
Yes, I'm sure you'll remember, Mapurna Priya, that in so many satsangs and so many different discourses, Swamiji has spoken on how the very DNA is affected in both situations, both in situations of trauma and also in initiation, when initiation can also go down to your very DNA. And this is a science that our ancestors, the Vedic rishis, knew how memories, how bioenergy, how our experiences, thoughts, cognitions can literally affect our DNA. And while today modern science has solutions and they are trying continuously to tackle generational trauma, it is not yet the solution as applicable, as tangible, and as viable as the Hindu solutions. So as you can see here, we've seen a lot of solutions that modern science has come up with, mostly dealing with therapy. And you can see some of the examples here of of how the modern day science and different psychiatric clinics are addressing generational trauma through therapy.
Yes. So now we'll understand a little bit more about how Hinduism addresses this issue, what Hinduism has explained, what Swamiji, the Supreme Quantum of Hinduism, has explained about this after a very quick break.
The ultimate divine descends in human body and expresses its extraordinary powers and experiences playfully. Sundareshwara is the embodiment of this statement. He is not Shiva as you understand, sitting in the Himalayas, frozen in the ice, in Samadhi. Sundareshwara is an artist with tremendous heart, ready to listen to human suffering, ready to bend for human emotions, The one and only thing you need to obtain His grace is simple feeling connection. That's all. He bends for anybody, to any level. Even the word compassion is too small. He is still available. Even now, He is there. He assumes human body and relates with you, answers you, responds to you, raises you.
I don't know, I was lost. And then he was done speaking, and just tears just started pouring out of my face. I'm just like, ugh, I don't know what just happened. It was just like unbelievable, just unbelievable. I was just, I'm shaking now just remembering it.
I don't know what shifts inside you. It's just, I literally felt the strong initiation happening at that time when Swamiji blessed. I don't know, it just puts you in some different world altogether, and suddenly everything seems possible. Everything seems, like that impossibilities in that 1 second, fraction of a second, that impossibility drops from you. And you just, everything seems possible, that you get into that space of possibility. And I think, that is the greatest, dropping the impossibilities is really, and something changes in you, something shifts in you. You can physically feel the change. And the energy that is generated, it really, it's phenomenal.
The ultimate divine descends in human body and expresses its extraordinary powers and experiences playfully. Sundareshwara is the embodiment of this statement. He is not Shiva as you understand, sitting in the Himalayas, frozen in the ice, in Samadhi. Sundareshwara is an artist with tremendous heart, ready to listen to human sufferings, ready to bend for human emotions. The one and only thing you need to obtain His grace is simple feeling connection. That's all. He bends for anybody, to any level. Even the word compassion is too small. He is still available. Even now, He is there. He assumes human body and relates with you, answers you, responds to you, raises you.
Welcome back after that quick break. Now let us continue forward. We've understood so far about generational trauma and this scientific phenomenon which scientists are still researching in. Now we're going to be looking at how Vedic rishis have actually understood this science, have seen it far beyond the time of modern day technology, and before all of the technology was able to give scientists the research that they are doing now, our Vedic rishis were able to see the root cause of pain, trauma, and identify it and give it a solution, which is until today practiced. From time immemorial, Hinduism, Sanatana Hindu Dharma, has done vast research and development in this field. Not only identified the root cause, but also has had a solution, which is being practiced in every Hindu family until date. So let us see now what Hinduism reveals about what happens after death.
Yes, and this is the reason, after understanding a little bit about generational trauma, why Hinduism emphasizes so much on completion with the Pitrus by doing the various rituals that which we will be understanding after a little bit about understanding about the what happens after death, about the Pitruloka itself, and what our ancestors are experiencing. So when a person dies, first the soul leaves the body, the physical body, then it moves to the subtle body, and that is called the Shukshma Sharira. In the Shukshma Sharira, it stays for 3 kshanas, or gaps between 2 thoughts.
And then you can decide whether to take a human body or whether to stay without the body, or whether to become enlightened and relax, liberate yourself, or whether to take any other type of janma. You will be able to choose because you have the freedom. You are relaxed. And many of us, I'm sure, would have, even on our physical life in our right now, we would know that if we have lived a restless life, or if we even are restless at any moment, the decisions we make will be impacted by that restlessness. We'll make the decision in a hurried way. We'll not be calm, collected, and making the decision with the view of the whole, view of the what is good for us, what is our life as a whole, and what is the structure, what have we learned from our past. All of these will not come up if we make decisions in a haphazard way. If we have lived in the same way, if we have lived a restless life, we will stay only 3 microseconds between one body and the next. And in the 3 microseconds, we will not have time to choose about our next birth. We will just choose in a very haphazard way, a hurried way, and just whatever comes to mind immediately, that is what we will choose.
Yes, and actually the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revealed about this, that how you live determines how you die. Whatever patterns that you've lived throughout your whole life will determine how you die, how you choose the next body that you take. Will be based on how you live, the patterns which you lived with, the cognitions which you lived with, and only based on that you will be able to choose the next body.
And Swamiji has also beautifully elaborated on this, even in terms of evolution, in terms of having a body, choosing another body, which is an animal body. So all of these is different ways, the science of reincarnation, as our Vedic rishis have established, have done the research and development, and now today the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving. So in conclusion, if we have a peaceful life, we will have time to look into our complete samskara structure. We will be able to see how we lived this whole life.
So if we've done completion, if we've experienced completion, if we've completed with our root patterns or cognitions, then we will have that space of completion when we are choosing our next life. And the last rites are done to liberate the soul, to give a good farewell. But if you are continuously bothering about that person, if that incompletion that you have with them is still there, then the soul cannot continue on its journey. And so that soul will not be able to continue on to that journey, will not be able, if we are not going to be able to let that soul go. And we should have that space of completion to say, yes, you lived with us and it was great. Now it is time that you carry on with your life. And even though we are not able to digest it, we respect your decision.
Now, have you ever wondered what happens to departed souls after they leave the body? Sometimes ancestors, based on their karmic deeds, they are not able to find the next body. They remain stuck in the form of Pitru. The Pitrus have their own heavenly place, world to reside, and it is called the Pitruloka. And this is actually what Devi Parashakti herself revealed in the Akashic readings.
Yes. So the offering libations of water and till, the Jinjali, to the Pitrus, the deceased ancestors, the parents, and our ancestors, to satisfy and elevate them to the higher spiritual planes is called the Pitru Tarpanam. This Pitru Tarpanam is done to give a beautiful farewell to, or the release the soul from the bondages.
And the foremost example of taking this responsibility starts from the king Bhagiratha, who had taken up the responsibility to liberate and cease the suffering of his own fathers. There was a king, of course, his name was Bhagiratha, and for some reason his forefathers, his Pitrus, had been stuck in the Pitruloka, and they were unable to find a new body.
And their ghosts were living in the Pitruloka, struggling, suffering. They were not liberated. So they begged King Bhagiratha to help them in some way. The king decided, I have to do something to liberate them.
And in the Bhishma Parva, chapter 6, verse 4 of the Mahabharata, King Bhagiratha started meditating, doing penance, doing tapas towards Brahma. And Brahma appears and gives the darshan, and he says, yes, I can send the river Ganga to the planet Earth. No problem. But be very clear, can planet Earth hold river Ganga's speed? And first do something for that. Arrange for it, then I will send Ganga.
Then again, King Bhagiratha starts doing penance, doing tapas. And after the tapas, Bhagavan Paramashivoham himself appears. Then King Bhagiratha explains, Brahma accepts to send the river Ganga to planet Earth, but he says the whole planet Earth will be washed away.
And King Bhagiratha had requested humbly to Paramashiva, planet Earth cannot withstand the speed of Ganga. Please do something. You have to protect us. You have to take care of us.
So Bhagavan Paramashiva says, all right, I will take care. Don't worry, tell Brahma to send river Ganga. I will take care. Then again, Bhagiratha meditates.
And then Brahma appears and says, I'm ready to send, but Devatas are not ready to depart with the river Ganga. They like to take bath in the Ganga every day. It is their life source. And Ganga is not simple water, it's an energy. By bathing in that only every day, they rejuvenate their body and mind.
Then King Bhagiratha says, all right, I will arrange all the facilities for Devatas to stay in the planet Earth, just on the banks of the river Ganga. I will create cities where all gods and goddesses can live and have bath every day and have their regular routine as they have in the other lokas, as they have in the Brahma Loka.
Then King Bhagiratha comes and does tapas towards Himachala, the Himalaya hills, the Himaparvata, Himaraj, the king of the Himalayas. And Himaraja appears and says and asks, what do you want?
And the king requests, I want you to be the host for Mother Ganga and the place where I can create a city for all the Devatas. From you, only Ganga can flow. Only you can be the base on which Ganga can flow towards the planet Earth.
And then King Bhagiratha does tapas towards Devi Parvati. Mother appears and asks, what do you want? Then King says, Ma, I wanted Ganga to come to the planet Earth. I wanted your father to be a host. How can he host Ganga?
Devi Parvati says, I am she is me. She says, River Ganga is the feminine aspect of me. I am the mother aspect of her. Then she goes to tell Himaraja, host her, and Himaraja accepts.
Then King Bhagirath starts building the whole city throughout the route in which Ganga is supposed to travel. He meditates on every hill and takes permission. He prays to every hill. Every hill says, yes, I will give way for Ganga. So all the route is cleared.
And then King Bhagirath goes and prays to Bhagavan Kalabhairava, who is in charge of the city of Varanasi. Kalabhairava appears and says, what do you want? Please give. And King Bhagirath responds, please give us the way for Ganga. You should receive Ganga and give us the way.
And Kalabhairava says, surely I will give, don't worry. But this is such a holy city. Tell Ganga to take a full pradakshina of this city and go. Do pradakshina of this city and go. And Ganga accepts that, Bhagavan Kalabhairava's command, and she takes the U-turn, means the Uttarvahini. She is called Uttarvahini in Kashi. So she actually goes full turn and goes around the city and comes back, doing the pradakshina. Pradakshina means going around the city.
And then suddenly Brahma comes up with the next problem. He says, you meditated and propitiated all the devatas except Bhagavan Vishnu. Only then I can send Ganga. Then the king started meditating towards Bhagavan Vishnu. And Bhagavan Vishnu appeared. What do you want? The king shares, I wanted the Ganga to come down to the planet Earth. Unless you agree, unless you give blessings, it will not be possible. Please bless me.
And Bhagavan Vishnu responds gracefully, all right, I bless you. Ganga will come to planet Earth. She will come just out of my feet. Then he says, beautiful, one more sentence. Whomsoever has realized the Vishnu Maya, means the universal consciousness, whatever water comes out of their feet will be Ganga. From this word only the tradition of Pada Puja starts. Pada Puja of the enlightened masters is from this tradition.
And then the king again meditates on Brahma, and Brahma appears with all his glory and compassion and blesses Bhagiratha. Then he prays to Gangama. Then he does tapasya towards Gangama, meditates and invites Mother Ganga. And Ganga, with all compassionate blessings, not only compassion, the wild energy, she just comes out of Brahma's kamandalu. With all the power, she straight away started moving towards the planet Earth. The moment she came out of the kamandalu and started moving towards the planet Earth, all the 14 worlds were shaken.
And all the devatas, all the rishis, all the munis, simply they escaped from the planet Earth and ran away because they got frightened that the pralaya is going to happen, or they thought that the end of the world was going to come.
Such a power. They simply ran away from their world. They escaped. Now, Bhagavan Paramashiva beautifully appears and puts his head in between the Ganga. She straight away lands into Paramashiva's head, into the matted locks, the jatas. And the next thing, she gets locked in the jatas itself, and she is blocked.
So then here on earth, King Bhagirath is sitting and waiting for Ganga for one kalpa. But what has happened? Already she has started but not landed here. He's just wondering what has happened.
Again, he meditates towards Bhagavan Paramashiva, and Bhagavan Paramashiva appears and says, yes, she is there in my head. Now what do you want me to do? But Bhagirath says, please just send her a little bit. Don't hold the whole thing. Then Bhagavan Paramashiva says, oh, is it so? All right, then he just moves one jata, one hair, and just from moving that one hair, from that one hair gap, Ganga comes out and lands in the Himalayas.
And now we will understand the whole happening of Ganga from the dimension of the spiritual enlightenment. Actually, the whole happening is a metaphysical expression of Bhagiratha's enlightenment. First thing, Bhagavatta is tortured by his past samskaras, engrams, that is the elders who are not liberated. And still they are hanging around him. He is continuously tortured by the past samskaras and engrams.
So King Bhagirath does the tapasya towards the creator of the whole universe. He wants the knowledge, the energy to be flooded on him so that all the engrams will be washed away, all the engrams will be destroyed. And one more important thing, when Ganga came, she washed all the ashes of Bhagiratha's forefathers and liberated them.
Understand, Hinduism offers the opportunity to take part in two sacred rituals, the Shraddha ritual and the Maheshwara Puja. So now we're going to be entering into understanding these rituals and how they work, what exactly they are. And especially in our Hindu system, unlike having to need to go to every single god, negotiate and speak to them and ask them, request them, do eons and eons of tapas, the Hindu civilization, the ancient rishis, have come up with solutions where we can just offer the Shraddha ritual or the Maheshwara Puja in order to liberate the suffering of our ancestors. So now,
actually, this story is very important, and we should highlight the fact that you can see how much of tapas, how much of effort and difficulty that King Bhagiratha has taken in order to liberate the Pitrus, his ancestors. You can see how important this is in order for his own enlightenment, his own completion to happen, how important it is to liberate the Pitrus. That's why he goes through so much of effort and tapas in order to do this. You can see the importance of this from just this one story. So because of this, the importance of liberating the Pitrus, for both the Pitrus, the ancestors themselves, and for us, Hinduism has these two rituals, the Shraddha ritual, which many of us have known and many of us have offered yearly. Many people offer this yearly across India, across many Hindu families offer this. And the Maheshwara Puja, which is a very, very special ritual, which can only be offered at the feet of the avatar. So let us understand these in a little bit more detail.
so the Shraddha ritual, here's the Shastra Pramana from it. This is from the Shaiva Shraddha Vidhi, where it says, the ceremony which has told now is known as the Shaiva Shraddha. This type of ceremony is to be for those who had been blessed with Nirvana Diksha, Prasadakas and Deshikas or Acharyas. For the persons who had been Samayan or Putrikas, another type of ceremony known as Rudra Shraddha is to be performed. In this kind of ceremony, the names of the Pitrudevas are Rudra, Skanda and Ghanadisha, and the names of the Vishwadevas are Chanda and Mahakala. For other initiated persons, Laukika Shraddha is to be performed. In this type of Shraddha, the names of the Pitrudevas are Brahma, Vishnu, and Isha. And the names of the Vishwadevas are Surya and Yama. For all kinds of Shraddhas, 5 persons are to be invited. Out of these 3 kinds of Shraddhas, Shaiva Shraddha, which is done with the employment of Shaiva mantras, is extolled to be the supreme purifying one.
So this mantra, or this describes how the Shraddha should be done. Now let us understand a little bit more about Maheshwara Puja. Maheshwara Puja allows for the liberation of ancestors through the living avatar. It is offered to those souls who are no longer alive so that they can rest in eternal peace. And the real peace that any soul can experience is enlightenment. So the Shraddha is a ritual that is offered yearly for the ancestors. So many Hindu families offer this yearly for their forefathers, for their deceased parents. And the Maheshwara Puja is a very, very special ritual, as we explained earlier, that can be only offered at the feet of the avatar, that can liberate the ancestors and give them eternal peace. And it only needs to be offered once for that departed soul.
So now, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has, of course, given us elaborate detail and profound cognitions and understandings about the Maheshwara Puja. So let us understand about the Maheshwara Puja from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself.
Nithyananda.
Go ahead, ma.
Swamiji, I just wanted to share something. This is not a question, but I actually went to Badrinath, to Brahmakapala, to do the Shraddha, to do the Pinda Tarpana for my ancestors a few years ago. They told me I cannot do it because I'm a female, and you have to be a male, and you have to be the eldest son in the family. So they have a lot of restrictions. So it's not very easy to do those, and I think the Maheshwara Puja, it's just we sit right here and it just happens. We don't have to worry about, and nowadays the roads are not even accessible very easily to these places.
No, not only that, you see, listen, in that rituals, in the 13, anything related to the dana women can do, like a godana, budana, swarnadana, vastradana, annadana and all. Rituals, basically women are not allowed to do in the later days of Hinduism. The post-Shankara time, the ritual was, all rituals were banned for women. That is the reason this rule came. Okay. But originally in the Upanishads and Vedic period, there are records, women doing Shraddha and even last rites. There are tons and tons of records and enough of records. And even the Shraddha mantra, in Shraddha mantra, where the priest asks the person who is giving Shraddha to hold the rice and the til, he addresses male and female. Please understand, he addresses masculine and feminine. And there are at least few places we have enough references and enough of evidence where women were asked to give Shraddha and participate in the rituals. Now what you are saying that in Badri it is not happening is just recent times, maybe last 600, 700 years, the male chauvinistic. That is the reason the Shraddha was stopped for women. You guys take this reference and go and do Shraddha in Badri and tell them, my Guru is Mahamandaleshwar, he has given this reference. You tell whether this sutra is right or wrong.
Yes, Swamiji.
Is this sutra original? Is this mantra original?
Yes.
He says, yes, it is original. Then allow me to do Shraddha. That's all.
Yes.
Swamiji, Pitru Doshat Kaga Pandra Puja, Maheshwara Puja is the same?
Yes, it's one and the same.
Swamiji, what if we don't have any photos or any birth time?
No, I cannot do Maheshwara Puja. You have to have either birth chart or the photo. Without that, I won't be able to offer.
Swamiji,
go ahead.
While in Kailasa, with you, we paid the tarpana, what are the...
Then I think that's enough.
That's enough. Second is, when you say they will be relieved of all the, after the Maheshwara Puja, relieved of all the karmas. I thought it's only the incompletion.
Well, all your karmas are actually incompletion.
Even the past life?
Yes. Okay. Even the need for breathing is an incompletion.
No, my question is this. In the present life, there are the incompletions, let's say. But the karma is also from the previous life with somebody else.
In the past life incompletions only, you bring it as a karma in the present life also.
With the same soul?
May not be same souls, but the carrier is the same soul. Na? See, for example, past life you would have had a fight with your husband. This life you may be having a fight with your wife. But the pattern is same in as far as the recording inside as a karma.
Right, but it's like my father. I might have incompletions which I took care of in Kailasa.
That's all, that's enough.
Right, but his previous jalma, what happens to them?
I say, when in the Kailasa, when we gave Shraddha and all, whatever is other baggage he has, that also will melt down because we have given it in an elaborate way. Don't worry.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Swamiji, you said 13 days, within 13 days if you do Shraddha, the soul which is born will get released of all the karmas. And suppose he has taken another birth, and within that 13 days if we do the Maheshwara Puja, he will, in another body he will get enlightened and leave the body as well? Or
No, he will leave the body and he will not have karma. He will not take another one body, which means enlightenment.
okay, but that life he
No, that body which he has taken itself will be dead.
okay.
The child will be dead within maybe 4 or 5 days.
Even if it's a healthy baby, the moment you have done
Yes.
Maheshwar Puja,
So, the milk he drank, he will digest for 3 or 4 days and that's all.
How about the incompletion that the parents have towards the
Each soul is an individual soul and their journey matters. They will have another one kid, that's all. The individual soul's journey is more important than any relationship related thing. That comes as first priority. Second only this.
Swami, ஒரு சின்ன சந்தேகங்க. What happens if the 13 days passes away?
If the 13 days is passed, I won't be able to liberate that child immediately. The further accumulation of the karma and the incompletions can be reduced. Life will be better without the influence of this load. That's all. But immediately the child cannot be liberated and all.
So if something happens, we have to do it within 13 days.
Soul will leave the body. It will not take one more birth. I'll cut the U-Haul service. Not only that, even if the road when I am traveling, if a dead body is being taken, that's all. Anything falls into my breathing space, even without knowledge, by accident, means when I am driving, there is an accident in the road and the body is still there, means over. That fellow is liberated. He can't have one more body. Because the U-Haul service will be disconnected. My breathing space is such, all U-Haul service will be disconnected. Means the karma carrying umbilical cord will be disconnected.
So
that cannot survive in my breathing space.
So Swamiji, all the bodies that when we are sitting in Manikarnika Ghat,
Whole thing is liberated. Whole thing is liberated. Yes. All these fellows are liberated.
at least 40-50 were there.
More than that.
Swamiji, when I was in Hardwar, there was a sadhu who was on the bridge, and I put some money under his coat, or his blanket, and I realized that night that he was dying. So I went back the next day, and I checked on him, and he was almost dead. And when I put the mala, I took off my mala, and I put it on the top of his head. He shuddered, and he died.
It is good. It means you liberated him. You helped him to free.
Good.
You put him in connection with me before he was dead. That's good. Go ahead.
Swamiji, you said the souls, even as long as they're in their breathing space, they get liberated. So does that mean it only can happen in your physical presence around your breathing space?
No. In my physical presence happens. When I connect with them also, that they become part of my physical presence.
Okay. So Swamiji, let's say we have a deity which has been done prana pratishtha or your paduka which represents your presence there. So if
that will not be able to have such a strong radiation over a human being because that being has to connect with it.
Okay.
In my case, he doesn't need to connect. I myself can be actively involved in it. A deity will not actively involve. It will only wait passively and whoever comes will be gracing. The Markandeya was active. So that person who is dying, if the person is active, the deity can do the job. Go ahead. Where?
Swamiji, if a person does suicide in your physical space, then?
No. If a person commits suicide, even in my physical presence, I will not be able to help. Because it is a abusal. You are fighting against God. When you asked and He gave you the body and you destroying it is directly fighting against the cosmos. So nobody can help you.
Swamiji.
Nobody can help the person who commits suicide, even in my physical presence.
Swamiji, even animals assume a new body within 3 seconds other than human beings.
No. Animals, when they evolve only, they assume a human body. That also happens within 3 seconds.
Swamiji, if the body wants to, if the soul, which has been born in a new baby, if you have liberated it, if it still wants to hold on to a body, get a new body?
No, it won't want to. When the karma baggage is not there, it will feel free and just jump out. Who wants to be inside the body when there is no karma baggage?
Swamiji, how is it then with enlightened babies getting born? Babies, enlightened children getting born, they don't have karma, right? So why do they keep their body?
No, that is incarnations. It's not that. Normally, all the children are born enlightened. No.
Swamiji, they need karma to retain the body.
Yes.
Swamiji, in the back.
Even in our end pregnancy, we bring a possibility for enlightenment more. Babies themselves are not completely enlightened. The possibility for enlightenment is more. And they are brought up in such a way that when they grow up, they will become enlightened. That's not that they are already enlightened when they assume the body. Next.
Swamiji, I already done the Maheshwara Puja through Swamiji to my parents. Still, I want to do one more time. Can I do?
That is up to you. You can.
Thank you.
Swamiji here. In the presence of energized padukas or deity or any object, if the person is leaving the body, can it be? Will it become
See
less
what
painful?
I am saying? No. That person, if he actively connects with me, I can do, but not that his feeling connection doesn't exist. See, when it happens in my physical presence, that person's active connection is not required. I will do the active job. But in the Padukandal, that person has to be actively connecting it.
Will it be less painful for the?
Surely. Not only less painful, even liberation can happen.
Thank you so
If
much.
that person is actively connecting.
Thank you.
Swamiji, the children who they die within a day or two of their birth, that means are they getting liberated or they will be?
Yes, they will get liberated.
Within 13 days, because as you said that karma
They
baggage.
won't have the karma baggage.
Okay.
So immediately liberation only.
Okay. Thank you.
Swamiji, I wanted to share one experience. When I did my first Maheshwara Puja for my dad, since my dad died about 10-15 years ago, I didn't do any tarpana. That was a deep guilt in me that I should have done, but I didn't do. But that was an opportunity to perform the Maheshwara Puja. When I did the Maheshwara Puja and when you put your food in your mouth, I felt that something dropped from me, a huge weight. I physically, it was like a gross feeling that something left me. Because I had doubt also. How could this be liberating my dad and all that I was having? Because only 3 kshanas you need for you to take the next body. Since he died about 15 years ago, how could that happen? And all those things was running in my mind. When I did that, I felt that this was more than what I would ever imagine to do. Thank you, Swamiji.
Swamiji, one more question. Do the karmic laws affect incarnations the same way as they affect human beings?
No.
So incarnation can never accumulate bad karma?
No. It doesn't touch me.
Oh.
Then?
I don't know, I'm just asking because some people thought you face so much harassment and all that is not because of any bad karma.
Now you are also harassing me. What can I do? That is not because of my bad karma. I decided to be patient and answer you, that's all.
I have a question about in medicine, assisted suicide. Is that also bad?
Yes, suicide is bad in every angle. The Vedic tradition, Hinduism does not accept suicide in any form.
So even if the person's suffering, you shouldn't do that?
Even if the See, the person should be kept alive with all possible available scientific inventions, discoveries as long as possible.
And if
Doctors should not do euthanasia.
Yeah.
Mercy killing, doctors should not do. At least for all my disciples, I tell you guys, even if you do mercy killing, you will be prosecuted for murder in the cosmos.
Okay.
So never ever do that.
Okay.
Never ever do that. Yes. All doctors, please do never encourage mercy killing. Never be part of the mercy killing. Don't even be a passive partner in that mercy killing process. Cosmos records it as a murder. So even if your country law accepts, cosmic law doesn't accept, so you step aside. You tell them, my religion does not agree with this. For religious reason, I will not approve or encourage, be part of it. You be very clear about it and step aside. It is straight murder. It is straight murder. Nothing can be done. If somebody is attempting suicide, that will be hanging as a ghost forever till that natural time of moving to the next body comes. Accident, he will not have suffering because he is not destroyed himself.
I'd like to participate in this Swamiji in the puja, but I won't be able to sit on the floor. Is it all right for me to sit on the chair?
You see, the Shraddha, it's a ground ritual where the food is supposed to be spread on the floor and offered. Oh. That is why.
Okay, thank you.
Sitting on the floor will be as important as I need a photograph.
Can I offer the puja to my husband's grandparents who I've never met?
Whom you never met? Yes, you can offer.
I had two questions. One, is there a Hindu position on organ transplants, lung transplant, heart transplant?
The Hinduism is very clear. It accepts organ transplants.
Okay. Second, what about hospice care? If a patient is dying and wants to just take
hospice care is accepted in Hindu tradition. It is encouraged.
Okay. Thank you.
As much as possible, the patient should be kept alive.
Swamiji, how about aborted life?
Aborted life. Actually, life enters only when the baby is coming out of the mother's womb. In that 3 seconds only life enters. When the baby tastes this prana, the breathing, the breath of the world, only at that time life enters. So inside the heart beating and all is an extension of mother's heart, mother's life.
Thank you.
In one body, please understand, inside one body, two lives cannot exist.
Swamiji, there is a condition of newborn baby where the kidneys are not developed, so the lung is also not developed. So the baby is put on the breathing machine support, and the whatever 24 to 30 hours the baby was there on the support. So there is not a clear, we were unable to see whether even adding a blood pressure support medication for a low BP, whether will prolong the baby's life or not, because the lung is not developed, so the baby is going downhill on the breathing machine support, which is considered maximum for the breathing aspect.
So you have done everything best and then baby dies, no problem. But anywhere you lack, it is murder. That's all.
We were not sure at the time whether even adding the blood pressure support medicine.
No, what I am saying, you had certain medical intelligence. With that, honestly, you supported only life.
Okay.
That's all.
Sure.
There ends.
Swamiji, one more question. The brainstem death which we certify.
Even then, the body should be kept as much as possible.
Because after the group of specialists certify the brainstem death, they actually withdraw the breathing machine support and all the medications. So, is it considered?
Even that should not be done.
Okay.
Till the heart settles by itself.
Okay.
Should be supported.
So, brainstem death is not considered a natural?
No. Okay. It's not death.
Okay. Thank you.
It's only a type of a karana sharira, the coma, causal coma.
Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Nithyanandam, welcome back. And we just understood from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism many profound clarifications and details about what is Maheshwara Puja and how it works. So let's now go into what is the definition of Maheshwara Puja and what really it is, what is the ritual, what are the practices, and how powerful it really is. Maheshwara Puja is Hinduism's most ancient ritual, prevalent even today. The ritual is offered in memory of a person who is no more, and Maheshwara Puja is offered by loved ones of the deceased to bring intense completion.
And during the Maheshwara Puja, incarnations complete with the departed souls. Maheshwara Puja instantly bestows the performer with peace, completion, and emotional relief to smoothly recover from the trauma of the loss of a loved one.
Completion means living and acting without any hangover of the past incidents, words, actions, or memories. When you are in completion, you will remember past incidents and actions, but they will no longer have power to cause pain or anger or guilt in you anymore.
And during the Maheshwara Puja, your request for completion is offered in the form of bhiksha, or food to the avatar, the incarnation as per Hinduism, and only the avatar can trace the departed soul in the cosmos and relieve both you and that being, the departed soul of the incompletions.
Yes, and there's this Shastra Pramana from the Manusmriti about how departed souls actually wait for completion. It says, asadhim avadhim kritva panchamam pakshamam shritaha kankshitsani pitaraha klitsa anapyavahanam jalam. It means the departed souls wait eagerly for completion through food and water during the Mahalaya Paksha, which is the fortnight of departed souls.
Yes, and we can see from the Bhagirath story how the departed souls are just waiting for the completion, for the liberation from the Pitraloka. And you can understand the importance of performing the offerings in order to liberate the Pitrus, whether it's the Shraddha or the Maheshwara Puja.
And where can you offer the farewell ritual for completion? The tradition says that the Bodh Gaya, the Gaya where Buddha became enlightened, where Bhagavan Vishnu's feet are worshipped, that place is very well known for energy of Pinda and Pinda Shraddha for the completion with the departed souls.
And the tradition says that the Badrikashram, Bhagavan Kala Bhairava himself receives Brahma Kapala holding Brahma's skull and receives the Pinda and offers it to Bhagavan Vishnu on our behalf. So, and also Manas River near Kailasa in the Himalayas. So these are the three places where you can offer the Shraddha rituals for completion with the ancestors.
And the avatar is said to be all three: the Brahma Kapala, Manas Sarovar, Kala Bhairava's body, Badrikashram, and the Vishnu's feet, which is in Bodh Gaya. So offering the Maheshwara Puja with the grace, the blessings of the avatar is going to be extremely powerful method of completion for you and also the departed soul.
Yes, it is equivalent to offering the Shraddha rituals at all three of these sacred places. And if it so happens that the departed soul has already taken the next birth, by offering the Maheshwara Puja, you will be relieving them of their karmas, and suddenly the soul starts progressing in their journey, wherever he needs to progress. So the ritual is like completing the completions at both ends. It is a blessing of an incarnation when he sits and accepts the Maheshwara Puja.
And as we have already understood today, with the story of Bhagiratha, the river Ganga is considered as a river which is there in the higher lokas, and which is there with the Kamandalu of Brahma. Means this is the energy, this is the water energy of existence.
Yes, so let us understand a little bit about Kailasa's Maheshwara Puja, which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been making available for humanity over the last 27 years continuously. And over the last 2 years, since the beginning of this pandemic, since the beginning of Pralaya, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has made the Maheshwara Puja available. Kailasa has made the Maheshwara Puja available twice a month on the no moon day and the full moon day for all the departed souls who are experiencing the suffering or incompletions at this time, in order to liberate them from these incompletions, these sufferings that they may be facing. So let us understand and hear a little bit more about the offering.
Maheshwara Puja, once again, is the offering of bhiksha or food to the avatar along with his monastic disciples, sannyasis and brahmacharis in the path of sannyas. And in this puja, the sannyasis are treated as Lord Paramashiva himself and are offered the bhiksha and fed. You can see here in this picture all of the sannyasis seated for the Maheshwara Puja. And yes. So all the sannyasis of the Nithyananda order seated for the Maheshwara Puja, and as well the participants of the Maheshwara Puja who offered the Maheshwara Puja on their behalf as well, sitting in the middle.
Yes, and now, as we explained earlier, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been continuously making the Maheshwara Puja available for humanity over the last 27 years. So let us look at a recap of some of these Maheshwara Pujas.
अजं निर्विकल्पं निराकारमेघं निरानन्दमानन्दमद्वैतपूर्णं परं निर्गुणं निर्विशेषं निरीहं परब्रह्मरूपं नित्यं भजेम अजं निर्विकल्पं निराकारमेघं निरानन्दमानन्दमद्वैतपूर्णं परं निर्गुणं निर्विशेषं निरीहं परब्रह्मरूपं नित्यं भजेम गुरुवे नमोस्तुते नित्यानन्द गुरुवे नमोस्तुते नित्यानन्द गुरुवे नमोस्तुते नित्यानन्द गुरुवे नमोस्तुते नित्यानन्दा
गुणतीतमाद्यं चिदानन्दरूपं चिदाभासकं सर्वगम्यातगम्यं मुनिन्देपरूपं महासम्भरेशं परब्रह्मरूपं नित्यं भजेम गुणतीतमाद्यं चिदानन्दरूपं चिदाभासकं सर्वगम्यातगम्यं मुनिन्देपरूपं महासम्भरेशं परब्रह्मरूपं नित्यं भजेम
गुरुवे नमोस्तुते नित्यानन्दा गुरुवे नमोस्तुते नित्यानन्दा गुरुवे नमोस्तुते नित्यानन्दा गुरुवे नमोस्तुते नित्यानन्दा
जगत्कारणं कारणज्ञानरूपं सुरादिगं सुगादिं गुणेशं नित्यं जगद्व्यापिनं विश्ववन्द्यं सुरेशं परब्रह्मरूपं नित्यं भजेम जगत्कारणं कारणज्ञानरूपं सुरादिगं सुगादिं गुणेशं नित्यं जगद्व्यापिनं विश्ववन्द्यं सुरेशं परब्रह्मरूपं नित्यं भजेम
गुरुवे नमोस्तुते नित्यानन्दा गुरुवे नमोस्तुते नित्यानन्दा गुरुवे नमोस्तुते नित्यानन्दा गुरुवे नमोस्तुते नित्यानन्दा
रजो योगतो ब्रह्मरूपं हृदिज्ञं सदा कार्यशक्तं कृताचिन्त्यरूपं जगत्कारणं सर्वविद्यानिधानं परब्रह्मरूपं नित्यं नतास्म रजो योगतो ब्रह्मरूपम्.
Yes. So as you can see, this video showed us how from just the 2021 years ago, Swamiji has been continuously offering this Maheshwara Puja. The Maheshwara Puja was a way that Swamiji has been liberating the souls, the departed souls. And now in Kailasa, the Maheshwara Puja occurs twice each month on Amavasya and Purnima Day, when it's a very auspicious day in order to offer the Maheshwara Puja. And you're seeing that as the sannyas sampradaya had grown more and more, the ritual was observed, and the more grandly the Maheshwara Puja was performed. And tradition says that offering the food to the avatar is equal to feeding 10,000 hungry. The best place on planet Earth to give the Pinda Tarpana, the food for the departed souls, completion with living and those who left the body, is the stomach of a sannyasi. That is the Jataragni, the digestive fire. The hunger of a sannyasi is the best fire into which you can offer the Pinda Tarpana.
And there is a shloka 3 from the Shoma Shamu Padati, describes the Maheshwara Puja, and it states, the sannyasis and brahmanas who have been initiated into the Shivadiksha are eligible to be appointed as the representatives of the Pitrus in the Shraddha offering.
So you can see the direct reference of the Maheshwara Puja here. And not only that, as an Apta Pramana, the Maheshwara Puja was also practiced by Ramana Maharshi in Tiruvannamalai. It is one of the rituals which he himself had sat for and did very much the same process as Supreme Pontifical Hinduism is doing today. And in the Ramana Ashram, they still conduct the Maheshwara Puja, and they were always, when Ramana Maharshi was living in the body, they were always conducting this Maheshwara Puja as well by feeding the sannyasis and feeding all of those initiated into sannyas by Ramana Maharshi, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi.
And the Shraddha, the ritual offering to the departed souls, reaches the Pitrus, the departed ancestors, directly. The Maheshwara Puja is 1,000 times greater than offering any Shraddha, any Pinda in any river, any water body, any lake, any holy land, any holy place. The reason being, the sannyasis intend only to have enlightenment, having renounced all other desires and needs. So serving them with intention of completion brings about the same effect in the departed souls and helps them attain enlightenment and get merged with the cosmos.
The tradition says that one morsel of rice offered and served to the avatar liberates 7 generations up and 7 generations down of the heredity of the Maheshwara Puja participant. And those many extra morsels of rice fed bestows that many kalpas, and a kalpa is equivalent to 4.32 billion human years of life in Kailasa, in the space of an enlightened master to the participant. It's actually such a blessing to literally have these. To have literally Kailasa guaranteed for you.
Yes, and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism personally receives the bhiksha and the food offering using the astronomical chart or a photograph of the departed soul. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism brings completion to not just the unfulfilled emotional verbal commitments, but also everything and anything you were insensitive to them about. And so we'll hear a little bit more about the Maheshwara Puja offering after a very quick break.
Just be alive for next 3 years. Don't die within next 3 years. Just don't die within next 3 years. Be alive. Somehow be alive. I'm working sincerely. I will reach you somehow. Somehow I will reach you. It's my commitment to humanity. Just don't die within next 3 years. I will reach you wherever you are, whichever corner of the world you may be. I will reach you with enlightenment. You manifesting the space, state, powers, being Paramashivoham. It is possible, and it is possible for you. Paramashivoham will reach you with enlightenment science. I know he is going to do the job. Just be alive for next 3 years. Nothing else.
Yes, welcome back. So, what is the difference between Shraddha and Maheshwara Puja? One essential question. In Maheshwara Puja, completion is both for you and the departed soul, so their next journey is free of karmic baggage. Maheshwara Puja can be conducted only in the presence of an avatar who can connect to the departed soul in the cosmos.
And you may be wondering if you can offer the Maheshwara Puja for yourself. And the answer is yes. Kailasa accepts the request to conduct the Maheshwara Puja for individuals. Please note that it is for you only. The Kailasa cannot conduct a Maheshwara Puja on behalf of for your family, friends, or anyone who is still within the body. Only those souls who have departed, or for yourself, you can offer Maheshwara Puja.
If you have any questions about offering the Maheshwara Puja, if you want more information, you can place your request at Kailasa's kailasamailer.com/sevas, and Kailasa's service will be reached out to you immediately.
And now we will watch a short sharing about a devotee who experienced intense completion after the Maheshwara Puja and manifested so many things that he wanted in his own life. So we'll be watching that video and we'll be right back.
Nithyanandam. I am grateful for this opportunity to share a few words about Swamiji, about my association with Swamiji. I think back in 2008 or 9, I landed up on a YouTube video of Swamiji, and ever since that time, I think I could not even stop watching the videos because of the effect they had. It just basically opened up worlds of wisdom that is based on Hindu scriptures. And in general, basically, I did have some gurus and some masters alongside my journey, and I think I was looking for answers for several of my growing years. But the moment I saw Swamiji and I got associated to his teachings via YouTube, I think almost that settled a lot of things in me, and I know that I don't need to look for anything else. Then I started being associated with Swamiji in one way or the other. By just being a part of several of the programs and also meeting him in person. Back in the day, Swamiji used to offer programs that we could actually sit at his feet and learn from the master. So I was exposed to that teachings back in something like 2014 or so. I think I did my first IA as well, and just before that, a few years before that, the several impossibilities started breaking. They made no sense to me because basically I used to keep some limitations and not attempt anything. And even though I knew that there was some potential in me, I could not have the courage. I could not have the mindset to attempt. The moment Swamiji showed a path in several programs and opened up several energy centers through direct initiation and also the teachings, I started looking for solutions. First time, I think after IA, I remember that he blessed me with a job, and he said, "Oh, you did not get a job still? Okay, by this date you will get it." And I could not believe that just the day he mentioned, though this job was supposed to happen, it happened just on the day that Swamiji mentioned and with the highest payment. So back in the day, I was a little bit worried about the money part and all that. So after that also, I started exploring my other opportunities, which I've kept in the background and was not attempting. So I bought a franchise. Several things that I wanted to do earlier in my life started opening up, and my relationships and several other areas. I remember in one of the IAs, I actually met with an accident, and Swamiji literally took care of me as a baby for about a few weeks, and I was completely, everyone around me was surprised how I handled it so well. I mean, I said it's not because of me, because I knew that Swamiji was working in the background to handle that. It was one of the spinal injuries, so pretty serious in the normal context, but the way I could come out of it, and I'm absolutely very well functioning in health. And recently I performed Maheshwara Puja, which I've been delaying a lot, and I did not know there are some breakthroughs that I need, that I was looking for, and after Maheshwara Puja, I can tell you that just within the next 24 hours or so, I landed up in another salaried job, though I was not looking for it, another 10-20%. I mean, I'm just saying that the faith and connection with the Master is something that I value and cherish all my life, and I just landed up in two different unknown things opening up because of the Maheshwara Puja that I performed. And anytime if I'm also looking for solutions, I pray to him. I talk to him every day at home. I have the Atma Murti, and then I close the door or just talk to him. And also I experience very solutions in the form of his teachings come to me, surface automatically when I just remember him or pray to him for solutions. So thank you, Swamiji Nithyananda.
Yes, so after that wonderful sharing, now we will be moving on into the next segment of today's program. We'll be hearing a little bit more about Maheshwara Puja, the various different experiences, and also all of the other offerings that you can make to Devi Parashakti. And not only that, but the upcoming festivities with Jayanti and also the upcoming events. And we'll be hearing all of this and more in just a short time after a quick break.
Ultimate divine descends in human body and expresses its extraordinary powers and experiences playfully. Sundareshwara is the embodiment of this statement. He is not Shiva as you understand, sitting in the Himalayas, frozen in the ice, in Samadhi. Sundareshwara is an artist with tremendous heart, ready to listen to human sufferings, ready to bend for human emotions. The one and only thing you need to obtain His grace is simple feeling connection. That's all. He bends for anybody, to any level. Even the word compassion is too small. He is still available. Even now, He is there. He assumes human body and relates with you, answers you, responds to you, raises you.
I don't know, I was lost. And then he was done speaking, and just tears just started pouring out of my face. I'm just like, ugh, I don't know what just happened. It was just like unbelievable, just unbelievable. I was just, I'm shaking now just remembering it.
I don't know what shifts inside you. It's just, I literally felt the strong initiation happening at that time when Swamiji blessed. I don't know, it just puts you in some different world altogether, and suddenly everything seems possible. Everything seems, like that impossibilities in that 1 second, fraction of a second, that impossibility drops from you. And you just, everything seems possible, that you get into that space of possibility. And I think, that is the greatest, dropping the impossibilities is really, and something changes in you, something shifts in you. You can physically feel the change. And the energy that is generated is really, it's phenomenal. Is the greatest, dropping the impossibilities is really, and something changes in this.
Nithyanandam, and welcome back, dear viewers, for our next segment. And we all heard about the Maheshwara Puja and how significant is Maheshwara Puja, and how it is actually the only ritual that we have to liberate the departed souls with the grace and blessings of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And in this segment, we are going to share with you about just one testimonial on how, what really happens. I was a personal witness to a specific incident that happened in the year 2013 with the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, as the Maheshwara Puja was happening during one of the programs that we had, and it was a memorable experience for me. So just this experience that I had with the Maheshwara Puja. Now, this happened in the year 2013, and we were all in Bali. Swamiji was conducting a 21-day retreat, the Inner Awakening retreat in Bali. And the Inner Awakening is basically a 21-day retreat conducted in many places. It has happened in India, Cambodia, Thailand, Bali, in the cruise, amongst other places as well. So during every Inner Awakening, which is a 21-day retreat, and for those of you who are like, yes, I have done Inner Awakening, and for all of you, we have very good news, and Inner Awakening is making a comeback after almost 3 years of not having Inner Awakening programs. I'm sure all of you are eagerly waiting, and we have tons of messages on our Facebook and on the live chat on the Inner Awakening site. When is Swamiji going to do the next Inner Awakening? So stay tuned. We are going to be having the next Inner Awakening coming up really, really soon. So do stay tuned to know more about when is the next Inner Awakening going to be. So during one such Inner Awakening program that we had in December 2013 in Bali, Indonesia. So at that time, we had the Maheshwara Puja. During one of the full moon days during the program, we had a Maheshwara Puja. And you're actually seeing Swamiji sitting in the main hall for the Maheshwara Puja. So the Maheshwara Puja is when Swamiji and all the monastic disciples, like you see in the picture, all of us sit and the food offering is made to Swamiji and all his monastic disciples. We partake the Pinda Prasada. And the food that is partaken is connected to the completion of the departed souls, and the departed souls experience completion. So during one such Maheshwara Puja, what happened was, typically what we do is all the participants, whoever wants to receive blessings for the departed souls, they submit their pictures either in print or via email. Then we make a board. You can see in the picture that you see on the screen. So there is a board where the pictures of all the departed souls are pasted. And as Swamiji partakes the Pinda Prasada, Swamiji looks at and connects to all the souls that have the departed souls, and Swamiji liberates them. So the puja was happening. We chant the Sankalpa mantra, and then the 15th chapter of Guru Gita, and then the Guru Puja starts. So the chanting is going on, and Swamiji, what we do is, traditionally what is to be done, the sannyasis go for begging, get the food that is begged, and cook together, and then the Guru mixes all the food, and Guru gives the food from his own hands. Here we don't go for physical begging now, but it's all online. So here the participants, they offer their contribution, and the food is prepared. And here you see in the picture, the pictures of all the departed souls are pasted in the board.
And Swamiji looks at all the departed souls' picture and he liberates them. This is the whole ritual. So as we were finished the chanting and Swamiji was mixing the food and partaking the Pinda Prasada, as Swamiji put one handful of food in Swamiji's mouth, immediately Swamiji took the mic and he announced that Swamiji got a message from Pitruloka. Okay, so Pitruloka is a different dimension which is between just above the planet Earth. We have the Pitruloka, a separate space where all the departed souls, before they get their next body, all the departed souls, they stay in the Pitruloka. So Swamiji got a message from Pitruloka that one of the beings whose pictures that was pasted in the board is still alive. That person is not dead, but the picture somehow made it up to the screen. And the person is still alive. And if Swamiji, as Paramashiva, accepts the Pinda, accepts the Shraddha offering, means the offering for the departed souls, then the Pitruloka, they will have to take the life of the soul and then accept the Pinda, accept the Shraddha, the food offering. So this is the message that the Pitruloka has sent, has told Swamiji. Swamiji, this one soul who's still alive. If Swamiji accepts and offers the Pinda, then we will have to take the life and accept. Because when Swamiji does something, they have to accept it. It cannot be that Swamiji, does a Maheshwara Puja offering and then Pitruloka doesn't accept. It cannot be like that, right? So the ultimate and utmost respect to Paramashiva. So this is the message they sent back saying, Swamiji, please, we don't know what to do. This one person who is still alive. So then immediately Swamiji took the mic and announced, saying that one person in this photo is one of the departed souls, or one of the person's picture is here, is not yet, he's still alive. So immediately all the participants were called and we told them, please check every picture, every person in the picture, every face that is shown, please check thoroughly. And after we thoroughly checked, we came to know that one participant, out of her unawareness, she had given the picture of, I think, her mother, if I'm not wrong. But in that picture, there was one other person in the picture along with the mother. It was like a group picture, but she forgot to crop out that person's face. So we immediately removed that and we cropped it out and put it, and then Swamiji accepted offered the Pinda and the Pitruloka accepted it. So please understand, every offering that is made during the Maheshwara Puja is directly accepted and by the Pitruloka, and it is directly related to the completion of that soul. So Maheshwara Puja is a very, very, very sacred offering. And if at all you want to do anything for any of the departed souls in your family, the best offering that you can do is Maheshwara Puja. So you can go ahead and register for the Maheshwara Puja by visiting our website www.kailasamela.com/sevas. And we have a very beautiful, one of the devotees who offered the Maheshwara Puja, Mukti Aduriyaya from the US, has immediately after he offered the Maheshwara Puja, manifested 2 new jobs. Within 48 hours, he manifested 2 new jobs. And we had one more devotee who, right after offering the Maheshwara Puja, the devotee had a case which was pending on for 2 years and couldn't come on trial, and they didn't have a date for the next 6 months. Immediately, within 24 hours after the Maheshwara Puja, after the completion happened within her, she immediately got the court date preponed. So when the completion happens within us, you will see that the outer world manifestation happens as a side effect. So those of you who are watching, if you have any questions about the Maheshwara Puja, or if you have not yet offered the Maheshwara Puja, please go ahead and register for the Maheshwara Puja. You can post your questions in the YouTube live chat, and you can offer the Maheshwara Puja. The website to offer the Maheshwara Puja, we will be putting it on the screen, which is kailasamela.com/sevas, www.kailasamela.com/sevas. You can go ahead and register for the Maheshwara Puja offering. The next Maheshwara Puja is happening on the full moon day, which is the 19th of December. 19th of December, we have next Maheshwara Puja, so do not miss offering the Maheshwara Puja. So let's now enter into the next segment, where we are going to share with you the offerings that we have to Devi Parashakti, the various offerings that we have to Devi Parashakti, and the significance of connecting with the divine, connecting with the deities, I have a very interesting personal experience to share with all of you, how important and how easy it is for us to connect with the deities. And I have my own personal experience that I would like to share with you, and then we will be entering into the various offerings that we can make to Devi Parashakti. So this was way back in the year 2008. 2008-2009 time frame. I was still working as a software engineer in Microsoft, and I was also a priest in the Nithyananda Paramashivam Devalaya in Seattle. So Swamiji's temple. I got trained as a priest, and I used to offer my priest services like a pujacharya. So my routine used to be 3 days a week. I have to go in the morning from 6 to 9. 3 days a week, I will have to go and offer the Suprabhata Seva, means waking up the deities from bed. And offering the Abhishekam to Paramashiva, and offering the break, like the Naivedya Seva. And after that, 9 o'clock it will finish. So this is like a 3-hour ritual. From sharp 6 you have to start, you have to wake them up. And sharp, I think 9 o'clock you have to offer the 8:30 or 9 you will have to offer the breakfast. And then by 9:30 I should be done. So I can go to the work, and I'll be at work before 10 o'clock. So this is my routine. So typically I used to be previously, since the way I was born and brought up, from the age of 5 or 6, I've been drinking coffee in the morning. So as soon as I wake up, I have to have a cup of coffee, like a hot coffee I have to have. So this has been my habit since the age of maybe even 5 or 6. Till I was 23 or 24, every day without missing, I've had coffee in the morning right after I wake up. Within 10 minutes, I should have the first thing after I brush is I'll have a cup of coffee, and then only my day starts. That used to be my routine. It has become my muscle memory, bio memory, everything. It has become my bioenergy, everything. It's such a part and parcel of me. And one day, if I don't drink coffee in the morning, I feel like my day hasn't begun. I'll be like so paranoid, and I'll not be my regular self until I have that coffee. And I used to enjoy coffee like anything. So, and always, even if I have to go to temple at 6 o'clock, I used to wake up at 5:30, take a bath, have a cup of coffee, and then go. So that way, I am all set for doing the temple routine. One day what happened is I woke up really late. I woke up at like 5:50 in the morning, and I have to be in the temple at 6 o'clock, and I have a 5-minute drive. So I had to and you have to be like sharp in the temple at 6. So I had to take a really quick shower, and I have to rush and go to the temple. And the rituals have to start at sharp 6 o'clock. So somehow I just managed to reach the temple at 6. Sharp 6 I somehow managed, but there was absolutely no way I could have had my coffee. Right, because there's no time hardly any time to have a very quick bath. So I had to take a bath, and I had to rush, and there's absolutely no time to have a cup of coffee. Even if I had 1 minute, I would have made and I would have drunk on the way, but I didn't even have that 1 minute. So I had to go. So 6 o'clock, I have to start the ritual, and there is no other replacement pujacharya at that time, just for me to finish my cup of coffee and continue. So at 6 o'clock, I started the ritual, and the ritual continued. And I'm like, I have to first wake the deities from the bed. Then I have to give a, bath to Paramashiva. Right? Abhishekam has to be done to Paramashiva. And I was always, until I met Swamiji, and of course after that also, always used to be a great, devotee of Paramashiva. I used to really enjoy connecting with Paramashiva. So I'm here and giving the bath to Paramashiva, and I'm like, inside me, it is like, you're making me give bath to you. You don't even give a cup of coffee to me, but I have to do all this to you. Inside me, there's so much of resistance and fight going on with Paramashiva, saying, you're making me do all this, but won't you not even give me a cup of coffee? They tell that you're a great Ashitosha, you're a great compassionate being. All I'm asking is 1 cup of coffee in the morning. I'm not saying I will not do rituals to you, but I could have done after I had a cup of coffee. All that I'm internally fighting, but externally I'm doing all the rituals. I am giving bath to Paramashiva, I am chanting the mantra, and I am doing the alankaram, all that I am doing. So from 6 o'clock I have not had my coffee, and by 7 o'clock I am having a bad headache. And because I have not had my coffee, and so I'm having a very bad headache, but I am continuing to do the rituals. So one side I'm like, why are you making me do all this? I have to, one side I have to take care of you, the other side you are not even giving me 1 cup of coffee. Did I ask something big? All I'm asking is 1 small cup of coffee. All that I'm fighting inside. But externally I'm doing the ritual. I finished the Abhishekam. I finished the Alankaram. I have to dress the Paramashiva Linga, and then you have to do the Guru Puja. And then after the Guru Puja, I have to make the Naivedyam offering. And in the Naivedyam, after the Naivedyam offering, you have to offer the food. So I'm making the Naivedyam offering. So at that time, there is no break, right? So you'll have to continuously do. So I am making the Naivedyam, everything is timed. You have to do it exactly at that time. So I'm preparing the Naivedyam and I'm offering the Naivedyam. And finished offering the Naivedyam at 9:15 or 9:30. I had a cup of coffee and I came back to my original state. Like Swamiji says, coming back to your Paramashivoham state, I came back to my coffee state, after coffee drinking state. And please understand, so those whole 3 hours I was battling and I couldn't drink my cup of coffee, whatever. Right after that incident, this was in maybe early 2009. Right after this incident, just few days, 3-4 days after that incident, the very coffee addiction that I had for 20 years completely left me. I don't know how. I didn't want to. Every time I used to keep telling me from the age of maybe 15 or 16, I used to keep telling I have to stop drinking coffee, but I will drink. Every day religiously, I will feel like I should stop, but I will not stop. After this specific incident happened, just 3-4 days later, I could not drink coffee anymore. I don't know how it will be believable. It's not that I dropped it, the coffee dropped me. I could not take, even till date, I cannot take a sip of coffee. Even if I take one sip of coffee, I'll have a splitting headache. I cannot, my body is not able to take coffee anymore. And after that incident, which is in 2009 till now, I'm not able to drink coffee. I'm very happy about it, but I'm just telling I could not. The entire coffee addiction left me once and for all. And that is when I realized the importance of, connecting with the deities and doing the rituals, doing the pujas, doing the abhishekam and touching the very deities which have been energized by Swamiji and offering the seva, connecting with the deities have such a huge impact in our lives. And these kind of habits are very difficult to leave. And we struggle. I've been struggling for like maybe 6-7 years, but never I was able to stop this habit. And it was such an integral part, and it became even physical that I used to get literally a physical headache if I don't drink a cup of coffee. And after that, I was like, get lost. I'm just going to drink a cup of coffee and move on with life. So I could never drop that habit. But just by doing the connecting with Paramashiva in the form of rituals and taking care and doing the seva and the puja, that habit completely left me once and for all. Until date, I'm not able to actually have a cup of coffee. So it was such a beautiful experience that I had, and it's just a big trick. Just one day, instead of going through my regular path of having the coffee, the life just made me. Swamiji actually made me go through that ritual of just performing the temple rituals, and that completely removed the pattern for me once and for all. So connecting with the deities and offering the seva, offering the rituals to the deities heals us, helps us in so many ways which we cannot even understand. So offering of our worship, offering of our sevas and connecting to the deities and offering our love, gratitude and devotion goes a long way for us to experience Devi Parashakti, experience the beloved Swamiji. So just wanted to share my personal experience as we get ready to enter into the next segment of what are the different offerings that we have to Devi Parashakti. And joining me in this segment is Ma Amritananda, and both of us together will be sharing this segment. Nithyananda, Ma.
Nithyananda. Yes.
So I was just sharing my personal experience of the offering my priest services in the temple in Seattle, and how connecting with the deities really helps us in so many different ways.
Yes, Ma. It's only when we are exposed to this understanding, this deeper understanding of the deities and the rituals, and after meeting Swamiji, that even as Hindus, we are able to relate with this. So that was such a beautiful sharing that you just shared. And every time we connect with Swamiji, even for me, most of my experiences are from whenever I attend Inner Awakening or programs with Swamiji. And even during these times, like the very first time I attended Inner Awakening, and the diet changes that we made, it became so effortless. So he just makes it so effortless.
Absolutely.
That we think that is absolutely required, it just drops. So yes.
So beautifully said. And even without us realizing that, it is such a big pattern and we have to drop, we don't even realize that what we need to do and the kind of tapas typically people do to overcome such patterns. And Swamiji just removes it just like that. So beautiful, ma'am. So let's now get into the various offerings that we have for Devi Parashakti.
Yes, so the first offering we have is the e-hundi offering, and this is similar to the hundi offerings in the temples, where we can offer any token of gratitude to the divine when we receive the darshan. So with the e-hundi offerings, you can make any offering of any amount and in multiple currencies. And Devi is described as Bhakti Priya in the Lalita Sahasranama. This verse describes Devi's love for true devotion. Let's look at this verse. Bhakti Priya Bhakti Gamya Bhakti Vashya Bhayapaha Shambhavi Sharadaradhya Sharvani Sharmadhaini. And the translation for this verse, it says, Devi is fond of true devotion and is realized through true devotion. She can be won over through true devotion, and she removes all fear. If there's any fear in the minds of the devotee, Devi is sure to remove that fear. It is stated that Devi likes to be worshipped in autumn, and here it is meant the autumn of our lives, when our thoughts turn more and more inwards. The role of the divine is known and understood clearly. The need for Devi worship then becomes stronger. Shambhavi is the consort of Shambhu, Lord Shiva. Sharadaradhya is Devi, who is worshipped by Sharada, Devi's Sharada herself, Devi Saraswati. And Sharvani is the wife of Lord Shiva. Linga Purana describes Shiva as Sharva in his earth form. And Sharmadaini is Devi who bestows a happiness on her devotees. So you can make your offering of gratitude and devotion to Devi Parashakti through the e-hundi offerings on the website www.kailasamailer.com/sevas, and you can make this offering in multiple currencies and any amount of your choice.
The next offering that we have to Devi Parashakti is the offering of Sankalpa. The Saundarya Lahari, the reference so beautifully says, let the mantras I chant with the sacrifice in my soul become chanting of your name. Let all my movements become auspicious mudras. Let my travel become perambulations around thee. Let the act of eating and drinking become fire oblations in the homa to thee. Let my act of sleeping become salutations to you. And let all actions of the pleasure of mine become part of your worship. So, blessings for both asked and unasked, remembered and forgotten wishes. Whenever we talk about remembered and forgotten, I'm sure every disciple will remember about Swamiji, because even if we forget, even if we don't remember, Swamiji will remember everything that Swamiji blessed us, and what we want to ask also Swamiji remembers, and he brings it out of us and he blesses us. Not only Swamiji identifies what we forget, he makes us understand what we have forgotten, and he reminds it to us, and Swamiji fulfills that also. So any desire you have, Swamiji will ensure he fulfills it, and he will make sure we experience that desire. So desires are not wrong, and especially with Swamiji, you can have any desire as long as it is not against the very purpose of your life and the commitment and the path, the lifestyle that you have chosen. As long as it is in alignment to that, any desire is perfectly fine, and Swamiji literally fulfills all our desires. And when we have Swamiji, we just feel like, Swamiji, anything that you need, you will just go to Swamiji, whether it is from healing your mobile phone, to healing the laptop, to healing the hard disks, to healing your leg, to healing your kidneys, to healing your children, to healing your car, anything and everything. We just go to Swamiji and say, and Swamiji literally does everything for us. And just connecting with Swamiji, and all the Paramashivoham participants and all the inner awakening participants, each of us have Atma Murtis in our house, right? Just going and sitting in front of the Atma Murti and literally talking. If you have Guru Padukas, wonderful. If you have a Paduka Mandir, just touching the Padukas and literally connecting with the deities and connecting with the divine, connecting with the Guru. You will see Swamiji just responds to every prayer of yours. So the Sankalpa offering is a conscious intention, a desire. You just express your intention. The Vedic tradition says you don't even have to fulfill your desire. Just express your desire. This is my desire. Come and in front of the divine being, come in front of the Guru and say, Swamiji, this is what I am. As long as you are clear on what is your intention to be, the divine just manifests as reality in our lives. So, having the right desire and manifest it in your life. So, the sankalpa is creating that conscious intention within us.
Yes, and the next offering we have is the Devi Sahasranama Swarnakasu, which is the offering of the pure gold coin, where each coin is inscribed with one of the 1008 sacred names of Devi Parashakti. And you can make this offering in 3 different denominations and any number of coins as you wish to offer. And this offering, where each coin is inscribed with one of the 1008 sacred names of Devi Parashakti, the names which describe her Ananta Kalyana Gunas, the very divine qualities of Devi Parashakti. And when you make this offering, you're also blessed to manifest and awaken these very same divine qualities, divine attributes of Devi Parashakti herself. So you can register for this offering on the website www.kailasamailer.com/sevas.
The next offering that we have to Devi Parashakti is the offering of Mukta Anguti, the finger ring with a pearl. The Devi Suktam so beautifully says, let the goddess who brings good fortune, who is praised by the gods, who is saved by the Devendra, who is praised by the Devas, troubled by the Asuras, who is praised and remembered as devotion to her solves all, who is the source of all good in the world, let that goddess destroy all obstacles. Offering of devotion to Devi Parashakti and receiving her blessings for protection from all fears and dangers. And you can offer the Mukta Anguti, the finger ring with a pearl, which comes in 3 different sizes for $251, $501, and $751.
And the next offering to Devi Parashakti is the offering of the Swarna Padma Pushpa, which is the gold lotus flower. And this prayer to Devi Parashakti describes Siddhi Buddhi Prade Devi Bhukti Mukti Pradayini Mantra Murte Sada Devi Mahalakshmi Namostute. And the translation for this verse, it says, Devi who bestows accomplishments and intellect, who showers worldly prosperity, Devi who powers the subtle mantra of the cosmos, I bow to you, O Devi Mahalakshmi. And you can make this offering of the Swarna Padma Pushpa, the gold lotus flower, Devi Parashakti, and be blessed with all the auspiciousness and blessings to attract positive relationships in personal and business endeavors. So you can make this offering on the website www.kailasamailer.com/sevas.
The next offering that we have to Devi Parashakti is the offering of Swarna Veti, the golden toril. The beautiful reference from Saundarya Lahari which says, Lord Brahma, the creator of yours, selects the dust from your feet and creates this world. The great Adisesha with his 1,000 heads somehow carries the dust of your feet with great effort. And the great Lord Rudra takes it and powders it nice and uses it as his holy ash. So offering of the Swarnameti to awaken the leadership qualities in you and by offering the worship to the divine lotus feet of Devi Parashakti.
And the next offering to Devi Parashakti is the offering of the Swarna Mangtika, which is the gold hairline jewelry which adorns the crown of Devi Parashakti and which represents the overflowing nectar from the Sahasrara. Devi is described as Sudha Sarabhivarshini in the Lalita Sahasranama Stotra. And this means she who makes the nectar flow from the Sahasrara Chakra, which permeates through all our 72,000 nadis and the Agna Chakra, the third eye, and gives us the ultimate experience of the cosmos. So you can make this offering of the Swarna Mangtika, the gold hairline jewelry, and receive the blessings for an enlightened lifestyle. You can register for this offering on the website www.kailasamailer.com/sevas.
The next is the offering of Pratyaksha Pada Puja, the offering of gratitude at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Swamiji, and a beautiful offering of gratitude. The reference above for the Pratyaksha Pada Puja is from the Guru Ashtaka. It says, Yasho me gatam dikshu dana pratapa jagat vastu sarvam kare yat prasadat Manaschena lagnam guroram dvipadme tatakim 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 tatakim. My repute has traveled in all directions through my philanthropy and prowess. All the things of this world are in my hands as reward for my virtues. Yet if one's mind is not centered upon the lotus feet of the Guru, what then, what then, what then? Connecting to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and offering our gratitude at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Swamiji is the Pratyaksha Pada Puja offering, which is very, very, very sacred. In the Guru Gita, Bhagavan Paramashiva says that Dhyana Moolam Guror Murti, Puja Moolam Gurov Padam, Mantra Moolam Guror Vakyam, Moksha Moolam Gurov Kripa. It says Dhyana Moolam Guror Murti, the root of the meditation is meditating on the form of the Guru. Puja Moolam Gurov Padam, the root of the worship is worshipping the sacred feet of the Guru. And Mantra Moolam Guror Vakyam, the root of all the mantras is the words of the Guru. Moksha Moolam Gurov Kripa, the root of the moksha, the liberation, is literally the compassion of the Guru. Just through the compassion of the Guru, the liberation can just be attained, and that for which we take millions of birth. We take birth again and again and again and again. That liberation, just through the compassion of the Guru. That is why the Guru is given the highest sthana in the Vedic tradition, because ultimately realizing the ultimate purpose of human life can happen only with the Guru. And just for us to understand how difficult it is to attain liberation, right? I will share one small incident that happened with Swamiji. Well, with Swamiji, nothing is small, but everything has a very deep significance. So we were, Swamiji used to go for a walk. Every time whenever Swamiji is in Adinam or anywhere else also, Swamiji always goes for a walk in the morning and in the evening. And that will be the time we're all waiting to get a glimpse of Swamiji in the Adinam. So once Swamiji was going for a walk, and there were a few disciples walking along with Swamiji, and I was one of them. So as Swamiji was walking, there was a grasshopper. That grasshopper was a few feet in front of Swamiji. And, Swamiji, of course, he is in everything in and around us. So Swamiji saw the grasshopper, and the Swamiji warned all of us, because, sometimes we just look here and there and then we walk, and we shouldn't stamp and harm the grasshopper. So what happened is, Swamiji told us, hey, there is a grasshopper there, all of you please be careful. So then immediately I thought, okay, why, sometimes we may be unaware and we may by mistake stamp on it, so why not just leave the grasshopper on the side? So I went, took the grasshopper and I put it on the side, grass. So it was there, and we were continuing to walk. And as I just put the grasshopper and came back, Swamiji looked at me and said, Jnanatma, do you know how many janmas this grasshopper, he said, how many thousands of janmas this grasshopper would have taken to get and assume the body of a grasshopper? For that soul to evolve itself to come to reach the body of a grasshopper, Swamiji said that soul would have taken thousands of births to attain that body of a grasshopper. I was shocked. Okay, that is for a small grasshopper. Okay, imagine us human beings. So then I asked Swamiji, then what about us human beings? Swamiji said, human beings will take millions of births before you get the first human body. You take millions of births. Each of us have taken millions of births as reptiles and ants and crow and birds and animals. We have taken all these births before we get a human body. And after you assume the human body, there was actually one devotee. This was in one of the programs that we had. There was a devotee who asked Kalabhairava, what is the purpose of my birth and is this my last birth, like that? That person, the Kalabhairava, responded to her saying, this is your first birth as a human being. You have hundreds of thousands of janmas to go. So that to take a human birth, it takes millions of birth and death of all the various different bodies that you assume and finally land in the human body. In the human body, we take hundreds and thousands, if not millions of births until we attain the body which gives us the maturity to work for our seeking and liberation. That is why in Viveka Chudamani, if you say, Adi Shankaracharya so beautifully says, Manushyatva, Mumukshutva, Mahapurusha Samshaya are the three most difficult things to get. The three most difficult things to get on the planet Earth is what? Manushyatva, human body. We take human body for so much granted. This is most difficult to get. Second, Mumukshutva, in the human body having a seeking for an ultimate, seeking for a guru, seeking for experiencing Paramashivoham. Second, and the third, you may have a human body, you may even have a seeking, but having the nearness of an enlightened master, having a guru, and having an avatar as a guru, it is just impossible to have all these three combinations. Manushyatva, Mumukshutva means a human body, the seeking awakened in us, and the presence of a guru happening in our lives is the most difficult to get in the cosmos. And each and every one of us listening to us, we have all the three. We have a human body, we have seeking, which has led us to the guru, and we have Paramashiva himself has come down as the guru to liberate us all. We have taken millions of births, and in the human body, we have taken hundreds of thousands of janmas. Finally, you have landed in that body. Finally, you have landed in that space where you have a guru who is liberating, who is absolutely taken the commitment. As a disciple, when Swamiji initiates you as a disciple, it is not that we give any commitment. It is Guru gives a commitment. That as accepting you as a disciple, I will liberate you. And Swamiji liberates until you experience liberation. He will continue to guide until he will never give up on us. For that being who has happened to liberate us from the karmas of millions of births that we have had. And in this birth, we have ultimately reached the source who is going to liberate us. What can we do? What else we can do? Just other than saying, thank you so much. What have I done to have a guru like you in my life? Thank you so much. That offering of thank you from the depths of your being, when that happens, that is the Pratyaksha Padapuja offering. An offering of gratitude. Just remembering, even, you met Swamiji 2 years back, 5 years back, 10 years back, remembering the different clicks that you have received, the powerful cognitions that you have received, the knowledge that you have received, how your body has experienced the higher level experiences, the higher states of consciousness, what all you have experienced after Swamiji has happened in our lives. Just remembering each and every one and offering our gratitude at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Swamiji is the sacred Pratyaksha Padapuja offering. Yes, Mahavatama, what would you like to share a few words about the Pratyaksha Padapuja?
Yes, Ma, actually, as you were sharing about the Sankalpa and how, Swamiji always remind, even when we say asked and unasked, it is Swamiji who gives us this experience. And also the Pratyaksha Pada Puja. I was reminded of my first Pratyaksha Pada Puja with Swamiji. And when he came to US in 2009, and that was the first time we had the opportunity to be in his presence for in this lifetime at least. And so the first day we attended a Yoga Sutra discourse, and I was still in that phase where I was not very accepting of going to gurus or asking for something, because we have been brought up in this kind of ambience. So first day when I went, actually they handed me a note to write down a prayer request. I'm like, no, I don't want any note. I'll just go ask directly. So when I went there, like that was the first time I experienced. I was totally tongue-tied. I didn't know. I was totally blanked out. I didn't even know what I would have wanted to ask. And Swamiji just put his thumb on the forehead and he said, "Be blissful." And as soon as I walked a few steps, I just burst into tears. Beyond my control, I just burst into tears and I didn't know why I was crying. I couldn't explain and I couldn't stop. It was a continuous flow and I couldn't stop. So then my husband, Sri Amrita, he came and asked me, "Why are you sitting and crying here? You know, you're in Swamiji's presence and why are you crying?" And then I said, "I don't know." And then I said, I wanted to ask him something, but he just said, "Be blissful." And I walked off. I couldn't even ask him anything. So then he was like, I gave you a note to write down your prayer. You didn't write down. So then why are you crying about it? So then next day we were attending a Kalpataru program and we happened to register for the Pratyaksha Pada Puja, and that was the first Pratyaksha Pada Puja. And after the Pratyaksha Pada Puja and actually before the Pratyaksha Pada Puja, again Sri Amrita had given me a note to write down my prayer, and I had written it down and folded it. So now I have learned my lesson to not go without a prayer note. So I wrote it down and I had it in my hand. Then after the Pratyaksha Pada Puja, we went for the darshan. And again, Swamiji blessed, and I still have the note in my hand folded. And Swamiji blessed, and I totally forgot that I even had, I had the note in my hand. Again, I was blanked out. So then he asked me, "Do you want to ask something?" On the second day, he asked me, and then I said, "Yes, Swamiji," and I gave him the note. So like that, even the asked and unasked, like you said, it is he who reminds us, he who knows the depth of our desires, the depth of our being, and continuously reminds us what our seeking is. He is the one who even puts the seeking in us. So really, we are so fortunate to have the Guru happening in our lives when we are in the human body. He is here to guide us, and that first experience of Pratyaksha Pada Puja also was so beautiful. That was the time I was personally able to experience Swamiji as the cosmic mother, as Devi herself. So anyone wanting to just experience this same space, I would say just definitely register for the Pratyaksha Pada Puja immediately. It is one experience not to be missed in any disciple's life. It is too precious and has to be experienced. Yes, Ma. So just wanted to share that.
So beautifully shared, Ma. Just experiencing the Guru and experiencing, what Swamiji gives us by accepting the Pratyaksha Pada Puja. He fulfills our desires. Pratyaksha Pada Puja is not for Swamiji. Pratyaksha Pada Puja is for us. And one of our viewers is asking, too much bliss can be troublesome at times. Absolutely not, Ma. There is nothing called too much bliss. It only expands us more and more and more and more. And what one of our viewers is asking reminds me of, a question, a dialogue between Ramakrishna and Vivekananda, which Swamiji had shared. Ramakrishna once asks Vivekananda, if you were an ant and if there was a cup of honey, what would you do? He says, I will just stand on the rim of that tumbler and just touch the honey and just sip the honey there. And Ramakrishna asks, why don't you just jump in the in the ocean in the cup of honey? He says, what if I die? And then Ramakrishna says that honey, like in Amrita, he says not honey, Amrita. He says, will and ever die in Amrita. Right? Amrita is what? A drink of immortality. So even if you jump inside, you won't die. So it is like that. But there is nothing called too much bliss. It is just explodes inside of us more and more and more and more. And there's absolutely no troublesome. It's just too much joy. And the more and more we walk into the path with the Guru, it is just it's a very beautiful experience, a relationship, and it's a very intimate relationship that you experience as a guru disciple. How the guru guides you in every step of the way. And if we just look at the Mahabharata war and how Krishna is responsible for Pandava's winning. Nothing. It has nothing to do with Arjuna's great bowing skills or Bhima's great Gadayuddha skills. All that, yes, no doubt about Arjuna being the greatest archer and the Bhima being the greatest Gadayuddha shield wielder and all that. No doubt. But they did not win the war because of that. They won the war because they followed what Arjuna told. So what Bhagavan Shri Krishna told, every step of the way, whatever Krishna guided, they just did. That is the reason for the success. Just like that, when you have the Guru guiding you in every step of the way, that is a sure shot for success. So having the Guru and just being guided by the Guru from the inside and from the outside is the biggest gift that we as human beings can get. And we have Paramashiva living with us, just melting in gratitude. Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you for happening. You could have lived one more life, without the Guru and wandering aimlessly, and just running after family and the job and, regular things that we have done millions of births before and, in so many different bodies and in so many different lives. One more life would have gone like that. But here comes the Guru to save us, protect us all, and to ultimately liberate us. So, offering of the Pratyaksha Pada Puja, every disciple, every devotee, do not miss this opportunity. And there is nothing that can stop you from offering the Pratyaksha Pada Puja once you decide. It is just your decision. Even if you do not have, let's say, $1,008 to be able to offer, just pray. We have Paramashiva ready to give his boons. Just pray saying, Swamiji, I have to offer, you have to somehow manifest things for me, and Swamiji will do it for you. So, he never denies a sincere devotee's request. So just pray and register for the Pratyaksha Pada Puja. So it's a very, very, very sacred offering. So we'll now move on to the next offering.
Yes, and the next offering is the offering of the Vastra Seva, which is the offering of the sacred cloth to Guru. And this is also an offering that you can register for along with the Pratyaksha Pada Puja. So as you register for the Pratyaksha Pada Puja, you can also offer the Vastra Seva, and it will be your name will be chanted during the offering of the Vastra Seva. Your sacred cloth will be offered in your name, and you will also get to do the Pratyaksha Pada Puja. So you can register for this offering of the Vastra Seva also along with the Pratyaksha Pada Puja, and you can register on the website www.kailasamailer.com/sevas. And this is a traditional offering which bestows one with the sweetest path to enlightenment and complete protection. So you can register for this offering on the website.
The next offering is the various offerings that we have shared with you so far, the E-Hundi offering, the Sankalp offering, which is just $1 per person, the Sahasra Nama Swarna Tasu, which is the gold coin offering, which comes in 3 different sizes, the Mutta Anguti, the finger ring with a pearl, which also comes in 3 different sizes. You can offer whichever one you want. The Swarna Padma Pushpa, the golden lotus offering, comes in 3 different sizes. The Swarna Miti, the golden ring, the Swarna Mantika, the golden handling jewelry, the Pratyaksha Pada Puja, the offering of gratitude, and the Vastra Seva, the offering of the cloth. So these are the various offerings that we have for Devi Parashakti. And you can go ahead and register by visiting the website www.kailasamailer.com/sevas. Even if you have just an intention to offer, means you do not have the money to go ahead and pay right now, but you really want to do, then we have a suggestion for you also is you can go ahead and do the step 1. Step 1 is just intention. You submit your intention saying, I want to do, and you receive Swamiji's blessings. Step 2 is where you actually go ahead and do the payment, and step 3 is after the payment, you fill the confirmation.
So yes, we have the links from step 2. So you have the E-Hundi offerings, which you can offer in multiple currencies, the US dollar, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. Euro, Indian rupees, Singaporean dollar, Malaysian ringgit, Great Britain pound, and Chinese yen. And you can make this offering in any amount and in any of the currencies. And the ornaments and sevas, you can make the offering on this website, where you can offer the Sankalpa chanting, the Devi Sahasranama Swarna Kasu in 3 denominations, the Mukta Anguti in 3 different sizes, the Swarna Padma Pushpa, the gold lotus flower in 3 different sizes, the Swarna Metti, which is the gold touring to adorn the sacred lotus feet of Devi Parashakti, the Swarna Mangtika, the gold hairline jewelry, the Pratyaksha Pada Puja, the Vastra Seva, and any of the traditional offerings and sevas to Devi Parashakti. You can make the offerings on the website www.kailasamailer.com/sevas. And once you've made your offerings, also you can fill out the Sankalpa details. The Sankalpa details are your name and the names of your family members to be chanted during the offering of the pujas and the rituals to Devi Parashakti. So you can fill out the form on step 3. So these are the various offerings and of ornaments and sevas that you can offer to Devi Parashakti during the darshan today, as we receive the darshan of Devi Parashakti.
And with that, we come to the conclusion of today's segment. And before we conclude, we just wanted to share a very, very, very important announcement. On the 14th of December, which is just a couple of days from now, we have the very, very, very special event. We have the 14th of December, Kailasa is celebrating the Jayanti, the day when Bhagavad Gita was delivered to the world by none other than the Purnavatara Bhagavan Sri Krishna. So on the day when Bhagavad Gita was delivered to the world 5,000 years back, Bhagavan Sri Krishna revealed the Vishwarupa Darshan, his divine cosmic form, to Arjuna and gave him the experience of the cosmic consciousness. And today, on the very same day, 5,000 years later, the avatar of our times, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, is giving that exact same Vishwarupa Darshan to each and every one of us. So we have a very special program on the 14th of December, which is called the Paramdhama Vishwarupa Darshan. The program starts at 4 p.m. in the evening, and the darshan starts from 8 p.m. onwards. However, we do sincerely recommend all of you to attend the program to prepare yourself to receive the darshan. Even if you see in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna prepared Arjuna for 10 chapters, and only the 11th chapter is the Vishwarupa Darshan. So we need to be prepared to be able to behold that beautiful cosmic form of Bhagavan Paramdhama. So we are all so blessed. Because if at all you have read the chapter 14, the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, you always feel, how would it have been if I had the darshan of the cosmic form? What would it be to have been Arjuna and to behold the cosmic form of Bhagavan Krishna? Many of us may have wondered. To answer our prayers and to shower us with the boons, here comes the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism giving us the Parandama Vishwarupa Darshan, the beautiful divine form, the cosmic form of Bhagavan Parandama. And we are all so blessed. We don't know what we have done to be able to catch the glimpse, the Vishwarupa of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. So it's a very, very, very beautiful, an opportunity. I don't know whether to call it an opportunity or a blessing. It is the biggest blessings that we have, that the Supreme Pontiff is giving the darshan. All we have to do is just tune in 4 p.m. Indian Standard Time on the 14th of December to watch this very special darshan, Parandama Vishwarupa Darshan. So that's coming up on the 14th of December, and the Jayanti celebrations, the 21-day Jayanti celebrations is starting right around the corner on the 18th of December, and the 28th of December we are celebrating the 45th Avatar Day celebrations, Jayanti of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. So do come and join us for the Jayanti celebrations, and the Pratyaksha Pada Puja and the Tulabharam will be happening on the 28th of December. You can go ahead and register in the same site, www.kailasamailer.com/sevas. So with that, we come to the conclusion of this segment, and the next will be moving on is we'll be watching satsang delivered by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. So let's all stay tuned. We'll be concluding this segment with the Purna Mantra, and we'll be moving on to the satsang now. So here you see on the kailasamela.com/sevas, you see the Nithyanandotsavam, the 21-day Brahmotsavam starting from the 18th of December. So with that, we will be ending the Purna Mantra, and please do stay tuned to watch the Satsang by the Supreme Court of Hinduism.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tatsat. Sarvam Bhagavat Shri Nithyananda Paramashiva Paduka Arpanamastu. Om Nithyanandam.